City Council. Keelan, please call the roll.
Morning. Maps. Commissioner Mash. Right. Oh, you know what? We can't hear you, but I see you're here. So Ruby. Here. Ryan.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Ryan. Oh, whoops, sorry, Wheeler.
Here. So now we'll hear from legal counsel on the rules of order and decorum. Do we need that for virtual meetings? I guess we do. Go ahead. We still have people in the room. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Portland City Council. To testify before council in person or virtually, you must sign up in advance on the council agenda at www.portland.gov/council/agenda. Information on engaging with city council can be found on the council clerk's webpage. The presiding officer preserves order and decorum during city council meetings. The presiding officer determines the length of testimony. Individuals generally have 3 minutes to testify unless otherwise stated. A timer will indicate when your time is done. Disruptive conduct, such as shouting, refusing to include your testimony when your time is up, or interrupting other testimony or council deliberations will not be allowed. If you cause a disruption, a warning will be given. Further disruption will result in ejection from the meeting. Anyone who fails to leave once ejected is subject to arrest for trespass. Additionally, council may take a short recess and reconvene. Your testimony today should address the matter being considered. When testifying, state your name for the record. Your address is not necessary. Disclose if you are a lobbyist. If you are representing an organization, please identify it. For testifiers joining virtually, please unmute yourself once the council clerk calls your name. Thank you.
Very good. First up is communications. First individual, please, item 965.
Request of Justin Wood to address council regarding complexity and challenges in zoning code.
Good morning, Justin.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Mayor and commissioners. My name is Justin Wood. I'm a home builder with Fish Construction Northwest. I build starter middle housing stuff here primarily in the city of Portland. I've been doing it for about 25 years. I am a former chair of the Development Review Advisory Committee for the city of Portland, and I'm also a current member of the Governor's Housing Production Advisory Council, focused on increasing housing production in the state, although I'm not here in that capacity. I just kind of wanted to take an opportunity to talk to all of you just a little bit about, I know there's been a lot said at the city, both about trying to figure out ways to get more housing built in the city, and especially the right type of housing. And I think a lot of that is the single family, small entry level middle housing products, the 3, the 4plexes. And I think the city's done a great job with those types of products. But that being said, if we had this meeting in person, I had a prop I was going to bring in. I don't know if any of you have actually ever seen the Portland zoning code, but I'm not exaggerating you when I tell you that it is about 14 inches thick. I don't know if you'd be surprised to know that the next largest jurisdiction for building in the region is City of Hillsborough, and their zoning code's about 1.5 inches thick. We currently in this, and I'm not testifying here today about my project in specific, but we currently have a project that if there's a lot of city people in the city that know more about building on infill stuff, I don't know that there's a lot more that know this process than me. And we have a lot that I talked to 2 different senior planners. I hired a former planner to help me design. We went through 2 different 15-minute early assistance appointments, and this is for doing a 5-unit cottage cluster project. We're on a lot that is zoned for 5 to 6 units. We got all the way through this process and had a bunch of different eyes on the process, and including some senior planners who I'm not going to name who thought it was a good designed project. I still didn't feel 100% comfortable about it, so I wanted it because it was a new project for us. So I went ahead and paid the extra money to do an early assistance appointment. During the early assistance appointment, it was found that nowhere on Portland maps does it show, nowhere on the Portland zoning map does it show, and nowhere did the 3 senior planners who looked at this figure out that this actual project is in an area called the East Portland Pattern Area, which is something that came out of Better Housing by Design and the DOZA recommendations in 2020. There's nowhere that is you can find. All of you can look on Portland maps right now and you cannot find it. It's only a tiny little footnote in the zoning code, and that has huge implications to what we can actually build on that project. When I asked why that wasn't brought up, they basically was told that the only way to figure this stuff out is to actually pay for an early assistance appointment. So it's surprising to me that in a city like this where we want housing, that basically the answer is, if you want to build a project, you're pretty much steered to always do an early assistance appointment, which shouldn't have to happen. And just lastly on that, I was even told that a lot of these recommendations are such a problem that adjustments will pretty much be automatically approved, but it costs $5,000 and takes months to actually do an adjustment. So I just wanted to point that out, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Justin. Appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Commissioner Mapps has a comment, then Commissioner Rubio after that.
Yeah, I just want to thank Justin for testifying today, and I very much agree with the advice that we heard. I have some responsibility in the permitting space. I have seen our code books, which quite literally can reach several feet high if you stack them all together. It's one of the reasons why I hope council takes the year that we have left to work on simplifying code. And in general, I would encourage us to take the next 18 months or so, when we expect construction to be relatively light because of high interest rates, to take a hard look at how we go about issuing permits. I think this hiatus that we have at this moment is an opportunity to make some improvements. Thank you very much, Justin.
Commissioner Rubio.
Thanks. I just wanted to say thanks, Justin, for joining us this morning. And, you know, we were very aware, we've heard loud and clear from stakeholders about the need for brevity and consistency. And so we're trying to balance all those things together. And clearly what we're seeing, these very long codes are the results of maybe well-intentioned, but, you know, layers of code built over time. And clearly the work here for us is to do that regular code cleanup and institutionalize that here at the city to ensure that the code's working as intended. I also want to credit Commissioner Ryan for flagging this early on when he was overseeing BDS. And so because of that work, the good news is that BPS is also recently starting to pick up on that regulatory cleanup under RICAP, and that will be coming to council next year. And, you know, that, of course, this is only zoning code. And of course, we have to do much more work to expand that to other bureaus and other development areas as well. And we know that code cleanup can only go so far. It's also about how we change our systems and get into better alignment. So just want to thank you for flagging it. It's an important reminder that the work is still there and it very much needs to happen and it needs our attention right now. So thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Ryan.
Yeah, real quick, Justin, it's good to see you. I just want to thank you for your early emails when I first got into office and was tackling the fact that we had multiple bureaus doing permitting and not a lot of synchronicity, if you will. And we also became aware early on in the task force that we had code clutter, and BPS wasn't resourced to focus on that for, unfortunately, years. And so we are playing catch up, much to what Commissioner Rubio said. And let's get that big stack down to a level that's closer to Hillsborough someday. Thanks for being here, Justin.
Thank you. Next individual, please. Item 966.
Request of Stephen Smith to address council regarding neighborhood violence.
Welcome, Stephen.
Doesn't look like they've arrived.
Yeah, I don't see him either. Next individual, 967.
Request of Adam Evans to address council regarding neighborhood violence. Adam Evans. I don't think they're here either.
All right, we'll go to Marianne, 968.
Request of Marianne Schwab to address council regarding collaboration with Multnomah County and Metro.
There she is. She's in the room there. Good morning, Marianne.
Good morning, everyone. I am very, very concerned about the disconnect in the puzzle pieces of our city between the city, the county, and especially now Metro. That building has been locked to the public since 2020. When I called my commissioner, it went to an office, a staff person, the phone comes back. It doesn't matter which agency it is. You don't know who that is. It would be very helpful if anytime you change your staff, HR upstates your who's in charge of what. That would be number one. So what I'm fussing about is that when I went to testify on something with Metro, I found out that they are going to be spending $68.5 billion in 3 counties. I want to know, is anyone from the city and the county going to be working face to face on that committee? I can't attend those committee meetings. I can only go the last Thursday of the month and testify on whatever. They're spending this dollars, and my concern is for the elderly is that they're spending 4% of the 25.5 billion on walking and biking. In my neighborhood, it is not safe for me with a walker to cross, it's 39, what do we call it? No, Chavez. I have warned that street has not been repaved now for, I can't tell you how long, with all of the potholes. It wore out my walker. It absolutely wore out the walker for my walking 10 blocks up and 10 blocks back to assist with meals with the unhoused in my neighborhood for 13 months. I wore it out. The other thing, speaking of people that we are helping in our neighborhood, who is the brainchild that decided the information unsheltered camping policies? Do you know what that does to my neighborhood? What it does to everyone's neighborhoods? Their things are being picked up and moved. They don't even know where they move them. And we're not being kind. This was bad. And what's even worse, yesterday I was told that the toilets at Lawhurst Park in the children's park are locked for the season. Where is the parks on these kinds of decisions? People need to use it. The only open facilities we have is at Fred Meyer's on Hawthorne. Every store up and down Hawthorne, every store up and down Belmont, customers only. We have human needs for everyone in this city, and we're failing them. And what we really failed is, am I 3 minutes up already?
No, you've got more time, Marion.
Okay. The Portland Street Response, that is a fantastic program. I waited with a woman who was hit and run at night, taken to the hospital, put on a number 15 bus, and just left there at Walgreens. I was going to take the bus up to Portland Nursery, and I stayed with her until 3 o'clock in the afternoon till the Portland Street Response came for her. This woman was left in a brand new chair. She couldn't walk. She had the hospital slippers on, and they gave her 2 packages of saltine crackers. No one took care of her. I was not going to abandon her on that Sunday afternoon. Speaking of hit and run, we've had 4 of the unhoused people that we serve as guests hit and run on our streets. And they go to the hospital, and one man at 4:15 was discharged, and he goes around the circle over here on Stark Street and goes back to his shelter somewhere. And when they go in an ambulance, he wasn't in an ambulance. He was there just to have his head checked. He was knocked out. They put him back on a bus, and they lost his ID. It's $30, $40 to get new ID for these people. We are not helping people. And as this elderly person, walk in my shoes, try to cross a busy street with 11 seconds. And to Mingus Map's credit, he is listening to me. He does have a school crossing now at the library where we lost a very dear, dear friend to children, introducing them to the love of libraries and reading. And I have been trying, and what I asked when I went to Metro, I asked if they could, I noticed on this list, we are number 20. I asked if they could jumpstart it to open the pinch point at the Belmont Library. Not one commissioner, my number 6 or the chair of the committee, acknowledged the time I took to share that with them. That is the disconnect. So I really want the question again is, will somebody from each of these offices be physically assigned to follow how they're spending these dollars? And one thing, you talked about housing this man a few minutes ago. This is the kind of information that may be missing. And I've got copies of this for you, and now for me.
All right, and Marianne, you've gone on a bit, and I let you go over just because we had a couple of people not show up, but I'd like to respond just to a couple of things. First of all, thank you.
Not even
as per usual, you're doing a great job in your neighborhood, in your community, and I appreciate your compassion, and I want to thank you for that first and foremost. In answer to your specific question, we do have representation at the Metro Council. Metro is a creature, of course, that we have several dozen jurisdictions that collectively work with Metro. We have 2 formal positions on their top level advisory committees. They, of course, have their own elected board that ultimately makes decisions on behalf of Metro, but we're represented on the Joint Policy Advisory Committee on Transportation. We're also represented on the Metro Policy Advisory Committee. We're also, folks from my office are represented in discussions, but no decision-making around homelessness issues. As you know, the dollars that go to Metro for homelessness are allocated to the county, not to the city, but we have people there who are participating and listening to those discussions and participating to the degree that they're enabled to discuss. So there's the short answer there is yes, that I appreciate it. And I agree, Commissioner Maps has worked really hard on some of those critical intersections, including the one that you mentioned. There's others as well. And I'm glad to see those improvements under Commissioner Maps taking hold. That they're important safety measures, and I appreciate you acknowledging his work there.
One question, Mayor, is that with this group, is there any way with this report, we're number 20. I asked if we could be bump start because we have a freeway going through. It's 30 miles an hour, should be 25 or less. And somebody went through a green light, hit his brake, and the rest was trauma. But we've got to slow the traffic down and we've got to open that pinch mark. And I don't know why we have to wait 4 or 5 years out. I just asked if we could be number 1. They look at us. No one answered that question. So with your staff, keep asking the question for me. I really would appreciate seeing us slow the traffic down on 39th, which is now Chavez.
Yeah, so I'll let Commissioner, I certainly have my answer, and it's probably not constitutional, but if it were up to me, I'd put lots and lots of speed bumps on Powell, Lombard, and Marine. And it would probably immediately show a reduction in our traffic fatalities. But again, there's a process for everything, and I don't necessarily get to decide unilaterally. Commissioner Maps, save me.
Sure. First, I want to start out by thanking Marianne for showing up to testify today and for your consistent advocacy on behalf of Portlanders. I also want to say this, in the transportation space, my office is probably the primary liaison to Metro around transportation questions. I meet with them all the time. One of the things that I'd invite you to do is to reach out to my office and talk to Jackson, who I think you know, Cynthia, who's relatively new. I'm not sure if you know Cynthia, but if you give a call to my office, we can give you an update on how we work with Metro in order to make our transportation system safer and to encourage multimodal approaches to helping Portlanders get to where they want to go.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Marianne. It's good to see you again. And then Keelan, I believe our last person this morning, unless the others showed up, 969.
Excuse me, you took 2.5 of my minutes.
What?
I watched you talk here. You said, Marianne, there's a few people here and I want to interject, but you stopped me from finishing what I wanted to talk about. This is not a safe.
Marianne, I'll let you go on for 2.5 minutes beyond the 3 minutes you were allocated. I let you take extra space.
Okay. We're stronger working together. And the people that I have been really helping in my neighborhood, 4 of them have been hit by cars and they're not treated right. So I just want us to slow things down. And the senior is having a hell of a time crossing streets with a walker. And I'm not going to go through what it is to be an elder, but I appreciate being here. And at 80, this is the last time I'm coming to waste my time and everybody else's. I am done with this city. Thank you.
Marianne, before you go.
Wait a minute. Stay there for a minute.
Before you go.
That's my Irish. I'm done.
I hear you, although I see you at the grocery store and we can continue this conversation, but I'm the transportation guy for this council. Seriously, truly do reach out to my office and we can continue this conversation about what we're doing. And I'd also, I very much appreciate your feedback on where we need to do better. I can look around, frankly, the neighborhood I live in and point to the ways in which our transportation system has gotten better because of your feedback. I hope we can continue to have this exchange. And you know where my office is, and you know where I buy my food too. So I'll see you either here at my office or I'll see you at the grocery store.
If I'm not registered with the police officers in City Council, Multnomah County, or Metro, I can't get in to either any of those businesses. They've been locked to us if we don't know how to get in. We need to open our city up again and start reading street routes to really know what's going on. Are any of you subscribing to that newspaper? I found out. I won't go there right now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. We appreciate it. And please do come back. We agree with you, particularly on the safety issues. So your voice does matter here, and I hope you know that. Thank you. Next individual 969, please.
Request of Tanya March to address council regarding Slabtown.
Good morning, Tanya.
Good morning. My name is Tanya Lynn March. I'm a Zamboni driver, a resident of St. John's. I'm the owner of Slabtown Tours. I'm the Parks Chair for the Northwest District Association, and I'm the Secretary of the Northwest Business Association. We need more public toilets. We need our parks, and we particularly need our Slabtown Park. I know the president of the NWDA, Todd, came earlier. We are asking once again to make sure that park is not lost to us. When we had 52 apartment buildings built in the area, we contributed in those developments to about 6 million of system development charges. Those residents desperately need a park. We're high urban density, high concentration. We have a stretch of income levels. We're not just a bunch of affluents. I'm certainly not affluent. I work here at a mall in the middle of the heart of Portland. I'm not making tons of money doing that. I am concerned about restrooms. We need, the idea of having more public toilets. A park would enable us to do that. I'm also concerned with Cooch Park. I keep hearing that they want to close the toilet there. That would be very untenable for not only our residents and our unhoused population, but also for tourists who come to our city. I know on one of my last tours, tourists needed to use 3 bathrooms. They used Friendly House, they used Lower Maclay Park, and they used Cooch Park during their tour. The bathroom at Cooch Park was $85,000 in the box. It was $500,000 when it came to the actual charges. There are 2 pieces of equipment busted at Cooch Park, and all of our benches have been burned out over by the trees. When I worked on those grants with Metro, grants with what I call the I-405 fund, we were having to pay 6 times the cost out of the box to cover 30 years of maintenance and repairs. Those did not happen. And I'm still advocating for a dog run under the 405 freeway. Thank you very much for your time. I spoke quickly, but I am actually at work and they may actually want me to come back. I'm on a break.
Tanya, thank you. And you have the coolest job ever. I just want to say that. I don't know anyone else who's a Zamboni driver. That's awesome.
Yeah, ghost tour guide and Zamboni driver. My teenage self really loves what I do. And I do actually have a PhD in urban studies, so I can tackle some urban zoning layer stuff, but this is way more fun.
Awesome. Thank you for your input today. We really appreciate your being here. Thank you.
Thank you. And please get us our park in Slabtown.
Thank you. All right. I believe, Keelan, that completes communications.
Yes.
I don't think the others showed up that I see. We'll go to the first. Well, actually, let's go to the consent agenda. Have any items been pulled off of consent?
One item has been pulled, 977.
Please call the roll on the remainder of the consent agenda.
Knox,
Aye.
Rubio,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Miller.
Aye. Consent agenda is adopted. We'll move to the first time certain item, please. Item number 970, a report.
Appoint Travis Bartling, Leah Chubb, Lori Tchaikovsky, and Dave Selholm to the Mechanical Code Board of Appeal for terms to expire November 28, 2026.
Colleagues, this item is to review the appointment of 4 community members to the Mechanical Code Board of Appeal. I'll turn this over to Commissioner Rubio to share more details about our appointments.
Thank you, Mayor. We're pleased to bring forward these appointments that include Travis Bartling, Leah Chubb, Laura Kachkowski, and David Salham. They're all great candidates that you'll be hearing about today. The Bureau of Development Services Board of Appeals can be called upon to hear appeals on the final decisions of the building official, and the members and alternates are appointed for 3-year terms, up to 2 terms each. So now I'd like to introduce Matt Roselle and the City Building Official and Bureau of Development Services Board Liaison to present the proposed appointees.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioners. I'm Matt Roselle with the Bureau of Development Services. I'm pleased to bring forward the following new appointments to the Mechanical Board of Appeals. Travis Bartling is a 3rd-generation mechanical contractor, and he has worked in the mechanical field for over 20 years as both employee and business owner. Travis has worked in all aspects of the job, including installation, design, and sales. Leah Chubb has many years in the mechanical trade. She has worked most of her career in trades and recently took a job with Energy Trust of Oregon. Leah has experience in installation, design, consulting, and workforce training, as well as community engagement. Lori Kajowski is a sheet metal worker by trade. She has 20 years experience in the field and has experience in all facets of the trade. She is currently estimating projects and is working as a pre-construction manager. And Dave Salhom has more than 30 years experience in the mechanical trade. He primarily works on residential projects, and he has experience in design, installation, and sales. We're excited to have this group join the Mechanical Board of Appeals. Their experience and commitment to the trade makes them great candidates for this position. And with that, I'll hand it back over.
Colleagues, any comments at this point? If not, Keelan, I'll ask, do we have public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Very good. This is a report. I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Commissioner Maps moves. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Maps,
I'd like to thank Travis, Leah, Lori, and Dave for serving on this important committee. I vote aye.
Rubio,
Travis, Leah, Lori, and Dave, thanks so much for your commitment to public service and your willingness to serve. And I'm happy to support these appointments. I vote aye.
Ryan,
Thank you for your service, and I accept the report.
Gonzalez,
Thank you for your service. I vote to accept the report.
Miller,
Well, I always love when we make appointments to these technical boards. All of you are a lot smarter than I am. This is a very technical committee. It requires people with deep expertise in this specific area. And frankly, I'm really glad that people with your level of expertise are willing to step forward and volunteer your services. That's great. It's an awesome way to serve the community, and all of us benefit from the years of experience you have in this area. I vote aye. The report's accepted. The appointments are approved. Thanks for your time. Next up, 971, a report.
accept report from Prosper Portland on the Office of Events and Film and My People's Market.
This item is to accept a report from Prosper Portland on the Office of Events and Film, as well as My People's Market. I'm pleased to co-introduce this report with Commissioner Rubio, who I'll turn this over to in just a second. But first, I'd like to highlight the incredible work of the Events and Film team. I want to thank you for your leadership, your hard work, and your dedication to supporting the events and film industries in our city, especially during a time when revitalizing our city is critically important. This is essential work that you're doing. I appreciate the work that's done so far, and I look forward to hearing about the projects, the activations, and the collaborations that are scheduled in the months to come. And with that, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Rubio for additional comments, as well as to introduce today's presenters. Commissioner Rubio.
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to take a moment to thank you, Mayor Wheeler, and your team for your stalwart support of this office since its inception. The Office of Events and Film launched in 2022 and was initially set up as a 2-year general fund allocation. And this council and Mayor Wheeler created the office as a vital and necessary step to foster communities, revitalize the central city, and bring Portlanders together through events, activations, and culture. I'd also like to especially thank Commissioner Maps and his team for supporting the film office in its growth as it received ongoing general fund from this council in 2021. The work of this team has encouraged commercial activity in the central city, which is the state's economic engine, and their actions align directly with our recently adopted Advanced Portland strategy, and in particular, the key goal of nurturing a vibrant and inclusive central city and neighborhood commercial districts. I'm very proud of the lively and successful events that have already enriched Portland Central City and extended to neighborhoods throughout the city. And I'm looking forward to many more as this team continues its excellent work to create energy and community across Portland. The more economic activity there is downtown, as we know, the more employees are walking on our sidewalks, going out to lunch, spending time in our parks, and bringing Portland Central City back to the wonderful and thriving destination that we all know that it can be. So I'll now turn it over to Burke Nelson, Manager of the Office of Events and Film, to kick off the presentation.
Hello, thank you, Commissioner Rubio. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so let me get started. Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Rubio, Commissioner Ryan, Commissioner Maps, and Commissioner Gonzalez. It's good to see all of you again. We are so excited to present the Portland Events and Film Program update. There's a lot to share, so please strap in. So the next slide, please, whenever we're ready. Thank you. Portland Events and Film Office is a newly expanded office that supports both the film and events industries. The office showcases Portland's cultural landscape and celebrates the diversity of our creative talent, businesses, and communities. My People's Market is a collaborative event organized by the Events and Film Office with support from event co-founder Travel Portland. The market provides opportunities for underrepresented business owners by connecting them to the travel industry and other professionals who can help expand and scale their business. Next slide, please. Here's a brief look back at where we've come in the last couple of years. I really want to highlight the support we've received from City Council, and a special thank you to the Mayor for your continued support of this office. And thank you also to Commissioner Maps for championing the ongoing funding of the Film Office. We're extremely grateful to the entire City Council for your support. We're also extremely grateful for the City Council's support of the Downtown Portland Winter Ice Rink, which will be breaking ground next week. And you'll also hear more about it, this work, during our presentation. Next slide, please. Now, allow me to please introduce my team. However, before I do so, I would like to reiterate that this office is new as of last fiscal year and was stood up during the pandemic with the goal of identifying gaps and needs to enhance the experiences of event and film producers. We've built the office based on national practices, including in close consultation with Seattle's Office of Music, Film, and Special Events, that also resides within their Economic Development Department. My team, hello, I am the manager, Burke Nelson. I would like to introduce the rest of my team, the illustrious Amanda Park, our senior project manager, waving hello. The incomparable Elise Taylor Liburd, our film industry project manager, and the incredible Ness Zolan, our events navigator. Next slide, please. In addition, Portland Events and Film works to support the Advanced Portland Strategic Objective 3's goal, which is to foster a vibrant central city and commercial districts. Next up, we have Elise to talk about our Advanced Portland Strategic Objective supporting small businesses and film and commercial productions. Take it away, Elise.
Thank you. Next slide, please. So some of the ways that our office works toward retaining and increasing commercial activity and supporting small businesses in the central city are film production services, film grants, and the Every Wednesday activation. Next slide, please. So film production services is a part of what I do. And you guys, I apologize, this is so rude. I have to take this. Hello, this is Elise from the Portland Events and Film Office.
Hi, I got your, I'm a location manager. I got your number from PortlandEventsAndFilm.com. I was hired locally from a film crew in Los Angeles, and we're shooting a movie here this spring.
Oh, that's fantastic. What can I help you with today?
Oh, well, I'm looking for our main character's house, and we think we have it narrowed down to Ladd's Edition in Southeast, but I'm not sure what kind of permits I'll need.
Oh yeah, we've done a ton of films in Ladd's Edition. So the permitting bureau will be Peabody. And you know what, why don't I go ahead? I'll send you the sidewalk, street permit, parking. I'll even send you the insurance requirements and the neighborhood notifications just in case.
Fantastic. You can all do that in one swift email. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Well, I'm not sure if this is part of your job or if there's someone else I can call, but we have a large crew base and we're looking to utilize some of Portland's top food vendors for catering. Do you have any suggestions?
Oh, definitely. We have a ton of those. I can send you a list, and we actually have food services that specialize in craft film production services.
Fantastic. I almost forgot. We have 6 producers who are flying in from LA for 22 days. Are there any hotels you would recommend?
There's so many hotels I would recommend. I actually work with some of the downtown Central City Portland hotels that offer special production rates for those filming in town. Why don't I put a list together? I can compare the prices and then I'll send it to you and you can have your production manager take a look at it.
Fantastic. This has been so helpful. Thank you so much, Elise.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Take a look for that email and I'll talk to you soon. And scene. Next slide, please. In the spring of 2023, our office awarded its 4th annual post-production grant recipient. Our office has given over $100,000 in film grants to over 15 Portland local filmmakers to create feature-length films. A 2022 post-production grant, Dawn Redstone Jones' film, Mother of Color, just received distribution on Amazon, and it's available to stream currently on Prime. In the fall recently, our office created a brand new grant to bring Portland's beautiful presence to the big screen. The Amplify Portland grant received over 77 applicants, varying in mediums such as documentary, animation, narrative, and short form. All of the projects submitted needed to be made and produced in the Portland metro area, with 100% of the grants going towards utilization of local talent, crew, businesses, and vendors. Next slide, please. The Every Wednesday pop-up events were successful in creating vibrancy and engagement in several critical nodes in Central City. The team has launched a new series designed for the fall and winter months with similar formula. Identify critical visitor nodes that are vacant or stagnant, provide regular and consistent activity, and showcase pop-up events and activations on social media to shift perceptions in Portland and encourage real-life engagement to the site. I will now pass this off to my colleague, Ness.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elise. The next slide, please. The next section of work we like to share with you within Objective 3 of Advance Portland is aligned with the priority to attract more visitors through events and activation, renovation of the public realm, and support for regional cultural organizations. Next slide, please. So event production services, I'm so sorry. Hi, this is Ness with Portland Events and Film at Prosper Portland. How can I help you?
I'm an event producer for the Market Road movie taking place next month, and everything that could possibly go wrong is happening. I can't seem to get a hold of the people in charge of permitting. I need to get access to the parks and the adjacent parking lot. Buy up it.
Don't worry. I can help with all of this. Let's just take it step by step. I'll get some basic information from you about the event. Then I'll give my colleagues at Parks and at Peabody a call as soon as we get off the phone to give them a heads up that this issue is coming down the pipeline, and we'll work together to get it resolved ASAP. I'll then send you a follow-up email copying them with your contact so we are all on the same page. I'll also send you a handful of resources for insurance, security, and production logistics tips. And if you need any help understanding of that, don't hesitate to reach out and I'll walk you through each step of the way. I'll also be meeting with other Bureau representatives next Tuesday, and we'll make sure this is on their radar to ensure the event is safe, it's clean, and sets you up for success.
You would do all of that. That is delightful. I need is to get the word out about the event, about how Absentees do it.
Oh, you want to get the word out about the event? No worries at all. As a matter of fact, our office is hosting an event producer meetup called the Events Action Table this Friday. This is an opportunity for event producers across many mediums, including theater, comedy, running races, parades, fashion, hip hop, markets, and much more. We get together, we network, we have a chance to share resources, upcoming events, and connect with other city partners. Also, if you tag Portland Events and Film and Prosper, our social media team is fantastic about resharing marketing materials to great events throughout the city, just like yours.
Oh, wow, Ness, this has been so helpful. Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. And don't forget to keep your eyes peeled on our website and social channels as we have another round of the community event grant coming up to support Portland event just like yours.
Thank you.
Thanks for the great work you are doing. Look forward to staying in touch. And scene. We also provide navigation services for events like Portland Pride and Festival, Irish Festival, and Formula E. And we invest in large events like the Winter Light Festival, Blues Festival, Portland Music Month in January. These events attract over 400,000 people into the central city and have an estimated economic impact of $13.7 million. These investments, along with the ones I'll share with you next, are indeed helping to heal Portland's reputation. Next slide, please. Our office developed and facilitated the Community Event Grant Program to support our creative communities in their work to bring people together, providing a sense of connection, belonging, and inspiring a sense of pride in Portland. Through 2 rounds of this program, we received over 500 applications and awarded 151 grants to support events from spring of 2023 through this winter. 76% of awardees identify as Black, Indigenous, or people of color. We've received 88 impact reports so far, noting a total combined attendance of 188,679. We know that when people attend a cultural event, they go out to dinner, they pay for parking, they purchase a gift for a friend at a local retailer, and if they're coming from out of town, there are additional hotel and lodging expenses. Based on 88 reports only, the estimated impact in our economy beyond the hard cost to attend the event is over $6 million. That's a return on investment of over 15.2 times. Next slide, please. In partnership with Travel Portland, our office launched the Scale Up Event Grant Program. It's a competitive grant opportunity designed to provide funding and technical assistance for local Portland events positioned to grow and attract attendance beyond the Portland metro region. The application period for this first round closed on November 6th. We received 18 applications, and our selection committee meets later this week, actually tomorrow, to finalize the awardees. We anticipate awarding 3 or 4 applications of up to $25,000 in financial support, as well as promotional and other technical assistance for the awardees. And now I'll hand it over to Amanda Park to share about My People's Market, the Portland Winter Ice Rink, and other exciting programs.
Great, thanks, Ness. Next slide, please. Founded in 2017, My People's Market grew from a desire to connect underrepresented business owners with growth opportunities, but in a little bit of an unconventional way. We launched the market with around 50 businesses to now hosting more than 150 at each market. In recent years, we have seen increasing and overwhelming demand from business owners eager to participate. This market is important to small businesses as a launching point and as a marketing and growth tool. Previously, it would take 1 to 2 weeks to fill the market. It now fills in just a matter of hours. My People's Market typically brings out anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 people. COVID slowed us down a bit, but we are seeing our crowds return and expect in the next few years that we will surpass our pre-pandemic levels. My People's Market continues to provide a community-focused event that offers shoppers a unique, family-friendly experience at a scale that delivers benefits to small business vendors. Over the year, it has been wonderful to see the explosion of makers markets and niche community markets. And looking ahead, we are exploring opportunities to expand the value of My People's Market for the community, and we are eager to see what support and infrastructure the market can provide to grow the My People's Market event and bolster our small business communities. Next slide. I'm pleased to invite you all to our upcoming market this weekend, December 2nd and 3rd, Saturday and Sunday, from 11 to 5 at the Oregon Convention Center. We're hosting more than 150 small businesses, offering a variety of dining options, fun activities for the family, including crafts by IDL, a storytelling corner with Nikki Brown Clown and drag queen storytime, as well as many performances from groups such as Mestizo Dance Group. Next slide. There's a lot going on in Central City for the holiday and winter season. The team is also transforming the south parking lot of the Morrison Bridgehead into a woodsy winter village, an outdoor ice rink. Opens December 16th and is running through January 28th. The ice rink will serve as an anchor through the holiday season and into the new year, accompanied by a woodsy winter village featuring a pop-up concession marketplace, food, warm beverages, and a cozy lounge. Throughout the ice rink season, we will host a variety of other activities, drawing visitors both near and far to downtown. Next slide. The Events and Film Office also supports Advanced Portland Plan Objective 3, outcomes and actions focused on activating vacant properties and storefronts with community-serving businesses and attracting new commercial development. Next slide. In addition to the Every Wednesday campaign that Elise spoke about, the office also manages the Winter Retail Activation Program. This ARPA-funded initiative brings attention to our neighborhood shopping districts, including Lentz, Foster, Montevilla, St. John's, just to name a few. Our team is activating vacant storefronts and retail shopping communities with art, light, and entertainment. Each activation site serves as a starting off point for visitors to explore the community and shop. The initiative opens with windows featuring holiday art installations that showcase the community's unique branding and seasonal offerings. And then the window transitions to a winter light installation to encourage visitors back to the area after the holiday season. And I'll hand it back to Burke. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Amanda. That's a lot. And just when you thought it was over, we've got 2 films that have been produced by my coworker, Elise. These 2 films were made by the local director, Devin Tao, the owner of No Sunrise Wasted and past recipient of a post-production grant. The first video is an interview segment from our 2023 post-production film grant recipients. And the second video is a compilation of the event producers and small business owners who have worked with our office in one of the many event service programs. So please sit back and enjoy.
The grant program supports the professional development
of local Portland filmmakers by providing funds for such activities as sound,
picture editing, color matching, color grading,
closed caption, tech specs for distributors,
and music clearances using local post-production houses.
My film is a personal documentary called My American. It tells the story of my mom, this amazing Vietnamese American refugee in her 70s who lives in outer southeast Portland. Something that's important for my film is to really kind of create a sense of place and like my mom's home and kind of the area in southeast Portland that we live.
Nora is the story of a woman who gives up on her dream to move back home to suburbia and focus on her child. I want it to be about inspiration to go forward instead of that feeling stuck.
Outdoor School is a film based on a true story in 1994 Portland, where a young kid sleeps homeless under a tree by night, but by day he's just trying to survive and fit in middle school.
Lily is a horror film about a woman who's experiencing a manic breakdown over the course of one night while she's being haunted by a ghost from her past.
When a grant like this comes along and helps you to finish the thing that you've been spending so much of your time and love on, it just helps quell all of those fears and push you that last step to get it out in the world.
and have any funding for the first 8 years. It takes grants like this to provide support and to uplift these stories that are out there, but maybe not getting kind of the spotlight that maybe some of these other stories are.
The film grant chose to highlight people and stories that don't usually get an opportunity to be seen. As a woman in the film industry, it feels like a little bit of stamp of approval or validation.
I went to outdoor school. I grew up in Portland. Getting this grant was validating. It was exciting to be recognized.
Being able to keep my post-production near home has been incredibly beneficial.
This money goes a long way because we're already stretched pretty thin on this production. It really is the thing that is pushing us over to actually make the finish line.
I really do believe the more personal a story is, the more universal it becomes.
The Prosper Portland Events and Film Office
is proud to offer grant funding to support
production of events based in the city of Portland.
Grants are intended to advance the city's
economic and cultural revitalization through direct financial support.
What inspires me to put on events is a lot of the community building and relationship. It takes a lot of collaboration, organization, community involvement.
There's different elements necessary to make sure we're creating safe spaces. It doesn't feel exploitative in a way of just let's get a bunch of people together and throw on some music they like and see if they enjoy it and have a good time.
Hip Hop Wine and Chill is an event where we honor and recognize business professionals who love the culture of hip hop. I love seeing people together and showing love and respect for each other.
The Portland Event and Film Office makes entrepreneurs feel seen.
And I think the fact that they support BIPOC small business owners by way of the Black People's Market is such a great example of that.
Well, thanks to the Portland Events and Film Office, we were able to actually put on the Hip Hop Wine and Chill event.
Folks should join My People's Market if they can, because it's just a really, really fun, good time, a really great turnout. There's a really clear mission and vision for the event that really centers Black and brown businesses here, which is really unique to Portland.
We're all grinding. We're all trying to bring a product to market. We're trying to figure out how to scale. The market is all about being a community, all about supporting those that come, and also being able to tell our family story through our products.
And My People's Market is really the only market that I feel welcomed and like I belong. Our event called Every Wednesdays. We've met some really cool people from all over the world, like, what is going on here? What's this? And every time we explain the city's investing in these activations around the city, they're like, that's amazing.
And there were times we had yoga coming out, the youth dance team. We also had the House of Ada. It's going to take years to repair, to restore, to create the kind of rooted growth we just normalize and expect.
It's been a privilege to be part of the revitalization of downtown for sure, and being part of this movement and showcasing the beauty of downtown.
That's the whole purpose and focus of it, is to bring people together.
Thank you, Portland Events and Film Office.
Okay, so it's good to see all that on screen. Now, please allow me to introduce, we have three great individuals who have agreed to provide invited testimony. Nacho Calcito of Formula E, Tim Williams of the Oregon Film, and Gerard and Garrett McLeese of the Irish Festival.
Very good morning, everyone from Portland. I'm just right now in Portland as well. I came for some meetings. I had the chance just to meet some of you in the last 48 hours since I arrived. And thank you for the opportunity, Ness and Burke, just to be part of this presentation of your department. So my aim here just first of all, just say thank you to all of you that have been involved during this year, our past season, in the delivery of the Formula E Portland E-Prix. So that's been our first year, and as many of you know, or if not, it will be fresh news. Next season we are coming bigger and stronger, so we are going to do a double header. So we will race on a Saturday, on a Sunday, on the 2024. I would like just to show you a bit what we are doing for the city and for the state. when we are coming to deliver our event. So we can just go to the next slide, just to show you a bit around. We have like a big department of business intelligence, and we are just grabbing all the information for the guests that are coming to our event. And this is kind of the quotes that we have received from the people. This fund is coming from Washington State, so it's a great opportunity to see an international motorsport event in my part of the world. So we never forget that in a World Championship calendar, we are just visiting 12 cities, countries around the world. Portland is the only US city that is in the calendar. And for next year, it will be at the same position as Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Mexico, London. So it's a great opportunity for the city and the state just to be on that pipeline and just to showcase what is our championship. We can go to the next slide. In terms of how we are impacting just the city, in terms of tourism, in terms of the people who's coming. So 2/5 of the visitors of the 2023 Portland Olympic came from more than 100 kilometers away, with almost a quarter of all that this stay for overnight. We can just keep going just to the next slide, please. So basically, this is how we just showcase or just deliver the event and the attendance of the event. So 38% outside Portland, 6% in Portland, 2% outside of the USA. We move to the next slide, please. And this is what we are doing in terms of impacting just part of the economical city. This is the people that is coming, only the guests, only the public that is coming from abroad. It's like almost 1,700 came from outside and paying a hotel and staying 3 nights doing 5,000 hotels. So this is only hotel nights from the public. This is the figures that we have. 23% of the residents is staying overnight for our international event. And this is part of our show. Can we move in just for the next slide, please? So the main thing for us is just to, and where we need the help, and we have been having the help from the filming and events office from Bart and the team, is that bringing also people from outside of the US just to show the city and to show the particular just categories that we have in this state. So it's like basically all the ecosystem, or most of the ecosystem, is the first time that they came to Portland for different reasons, and they really love that. But just you will see now the numbers of the people that we are bringing here when we just bring our circus around. So we can go just to the next slide. So this is what we are doing when we come to a city, particularly when we are coming to Portland. So it's around 12,000 room nights. This is spent only for Formula E. This us, for my team, is spending 335,000. But with my teams, the drivers, the suppliers, we are in 1.3 million investment only in hotel nights. We can move just to the next slide. I don't want just to bother you a lot with numbers. But the big thing as well is that when we come here, more of the 50% is investing in local companies. So the ones who had the opportunity to come this year and show the big circus that we did, all those tents, all those people that we have here, all the activations that we have in the fan village, all the F&B, all this money were paid just to local companies here. So it's a huge investment for us just to make this event here. I want only just to show you this, and we can go just to the next slide if you want, to tell you that we have an amazing help from Berg, Ness, and the office, but obviously next year we want to be bigger, and we just to be more important. We want to be or have more presence around the world, and we would like just to have some more support from you guys, from all of you that are here, that I think is representing the full city and the full state of Oregon. So more support for Berg and Ness, the poor guys that have been just supporting us massively. But if we can have some help to them as well, we'll be just making this bigger and bigger. At the end, again, is that to stay in Portland and for many years, and to have our race many years here. So make it bigger with the help of all of you guys. So thank you very much. I hope I didn't pass my 2 minutes. And I'm in Portland. If someone wants to see me around, my flight is 6:40 tomorrow in the morning, but still some meetings yet to go. So thank you very much all.
Thank you, Nacho. It's my guy right there. Looking for Tim. I don't know if we see Tim on our screen.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm
there
here,
he
bro.
is. Awesome.
I don't have as many wonderful slides as you guys have, and thank you, Nacho, for that. That was wonderful, but I do want to speak towards the Events and Film Office. For the record, my name is Tim Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Oregon Film. We're the State Film and Media Economic Development Office. We work closely with the Governor's Office as well as Business Oregon. Film and media here in Oregon is a multi-billion-dollar industry in terms of economic output, with a long tail of film tourism that continually pays an economic dividend. I've personally worked with the Portland Film Office for many years to further enhance and develop this industry here in Portland. This includes projects like Grimm, Portlandia, Shrill, even the recently Oscar-winning Pinocchio that was produced here in Portland. This is an industry that promotes the vibrancy and creativity of Portland to a national and international audience while providing thousands of jobs and millions of dollars to local business spending. More recently, working with the expanded Office of Events and Film has made a significant difference to my own work and to the way Portland is viewed by our industry. They are responsive, they are proactive, and as you've just seen, they're very creative. I communicate with the Events and Film Office on almost a daily basis. I communicate with the Events and Film Office on almost a daily basis to develop strategy, problem solve, and ensure that Portland is a place people want to bring their film, television, commercial, and animated and interactive projects. Portland Events and Film Office is a key partner in this. Even if a project does not physically shoot in the city of Portland, it draws much of its crew and its equipment from the city. We work closely together on both recruiting new projects from outside the state, but also retaining and building the large existing industry that's already here. This has included navigating the recent strikes that have impacted our industry and developing new ways to support creators locally. Thank you to Commissioners Rubio and Ryan and their staff for supporting these efforts, and to Commissioner Mapps, his staff, and Prosper Portland for helping grow this office in such a beneficial way. Portland drives our industry, providing locations, equipment, but most importantly, crew and talent. Having an expanded events and film office that includes dedicated film project manager through a lease, supported by an office that is actively problem solving for this and other creative industries, sets this city apart and keeps creative content makers coming back and living here. Perhaps most significantly is the Events and Film Office programmatic partnerships that have made true impact on our industry and our community. Being able to work together to implement and design and then enact these programs that support projects and filmmakers working in and supporting and celebrating this city has truly been substantive. I know this has created new opportunities for a diverse and expanding workforce while supporting Portland-based projects and artists alike. Thank you for Travel Portland for helping make this possible. Our community is the better for it. Having the support of the expanded office and the talented staff at the Events and Film Office, Burke, Amanda, Ness, and Elise, has been very much an asset to the work we all do and we all are doing to ensure this city is seen as a creative destination and producer of quality work that it is. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Tim. Gerard and Garrett up next. These are two of the first people that we worked with as an office.
Hi guys, Ness, Burke, Elise, everyone. Thank you very much for having us here this morning. My name's Garrett McAleese. This is my father. Hello. Jared McAleese. We represent Kel's Irish Pubs, two bars here locally in Portland. In downtown, right in the core there in Old Town is my father's pub, and I'm up in Northwest on 21st Avenue. We also represent Portland's Irish Festival. It'll be 30 years this year. And last year in 2023, in March of 2023, was actually our largest event to date. And that is entirely due to the help that we received from Prosper Portland and the Events and Film. I think kind of the initial meeting that we had with you guys basically started off with just because something hadn't been done before does not mean it can't be done. And I think that's something that Prosper Portland and Portland Events and Film has kind of pushed forward for us over the last year and a half, 2 years almost since we've been working together. We're very grateful for that kind of mantra that you guys helped instill in us. Doing a multi-day event on the waterfront, coordinating with Portland Parks and Peabody and everything had not been done before. And running multiple events together down there. So through you guys' help, we were able to achieve that, which was fantastic. Between us and Shamrock Run, we combined the two events together. Over the course of the weekend, we saw over 25,000 people come down to the waterfront last year, and this year we hope to almost double that. We're working to even grow it bigger. Because of the success of the event last year, we were able to see investments from the Irish government, not only for musicians, but also even bringing out athletes to come participate in multiple events that we have over that weekend down at the waterfront. As this event grows on, we hope to even grow that larger. Last year, we saw people from 37 states come in and multiple people from Canada, Ireland, Mexico come to the event. We again hope to grow this internationally as well as nationally over the course of the next few years. We have plans in place to keep growing this. Thanks to Prosper Portland, we've been working hand in hand as we push forward for 2024. So obviously, a lot of the services offered by the board have been able to help push us forward. So that's been crucial for supporting what we're just a small local business, and we're able to produce an event that reaches like literally global scale, and that has been able to been kicked off thanks to everyone you see up here today presenting. So thank you for letting us testify. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to let everyone know what a fantastic help you've been for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Garrett.
I just want to show out to Ness and Bertha. They just were instrumental in putting this project together to this dream of being the Irish on the waterfront around the March 17th, the Irish Festival. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a lot, but you know, we had a lot to share, and my team loves their jobs, and we love this city. So I felt it was necessary that we got as much out there in the time allotted. But now I'd like to open it up to any questions from council.
Very good. Excellent presentation, everybody. Thank you so much for that. Particularly like the acting routine. That's one for the ages. Well done. Colleagues, any questions at this juncture? Keelan, do we have public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Gonzalez.
I just want to make sure that Garrett and Gerard recognize that my background there.
Oh, I see that.
We just saw.
This is the Irish Festival Boxing Smoker, and the boys from Belfast were really tough that night, but we did get one Oregon win. So, anyways, that's my question. Want to make sure you recognize the picture.
Thank you, everybody. Colleagues, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
So moved.
Commissioner Rubio moves. Can I get Commissioner Gonzalez, can I take that as a second?
Yes.
Very good. Keelan, please call the roll.
Abs.
I'd like to thank the mayor and Commissioner Rubio for bringing this report forward. Also want to thank staff and our guest for today's presentation. Indeed, this was one of the more creative council presentations that I've seen in my 3 years on this body. And I also, on a personal and professional note, I just want to share how impressed I am with the evolution of the film and events office. Some of these responsibilities were in my portfolio, and they've moved on to other offices. I tell you, the film and events office is miles ahead of where we were just a few years ago. Just incredible work by staff and the community and the folks who are currently in charge. So I am filled with admiration and gratitude, which is why I vote aye.
Rubio.
I want to say thank you to all the team at the Events and Film Office for your excellent work, innovative work to make the events and films that come to Portland run smoothly, and also showing our event producers our world-class hospitality and concierge services, and also the incredible work of My People's Market and the responsiveness and success that you've all demonstrated there. I love this report today. I too agree that the acting was amazing, by the way, but really it illustrated a bigger point. It's the amazing existing work of this office and the potential new innovations and value that it brings to our city. And I especially want to highlight we've talked about it, I've heard it, other people mention it, but the exceptional talent on this team. the talent, the creativity of each of the individuals on the team. I've seen how they quite literally turn potential issues into opportunities and have been a really critical part of Portland's comeback. I think that the team really truly has the pulse of Portland dialed in, and I want to make sure that they get credit that they deserve today for their innovation and their problem solving, because I believe we'd be in a much different place right now, but for their contributions in some of these things. So I just want to put out there too, that as we go forward into next year's budget, I want us to keep in mind and remember that this office is bringing the kind of activation that we want to see for our city. And it strengthens all the things that we want to be known for in Portland, because this keeps that strong economic base we need to tackle all our other priorities too, because it's all connected. So again, just thanks everyone for the great presentation today and your excellent work. I vote aye.
Ryan?
Yes, thank you, team. It was a really good report. You're an outstanding leader out there in the community, and the theater performance was awesome. To make your point, I do want to acknowledge, especially Nacho from Formula E. I had an opportunity to get to know him when he was here in the summer, and I'm sure you were the flagship of the ROI that we were seeing earlier, the Formula E. All of this is great. I just want to make sure we don't forget about some of our traditional partners. I don't have the details from Rose Festival, for an example, but I know that they struggled with permitting and getting some of these same amenities. So as we build these practices for newer partners, let's not forget about our traditional partners as well. And I don't have all the details on that. I just know from interfacing with them that they had a lot of struggles last 2 years with some of the issues that we're trying to mitigate in this situation. So let's make sure we always focus on those systems like Rose Festival, Fashion Next, those true partners that also bring a lot of ROI downtown as we also cultivate new ones. That all said, I vote aye.
Gonzalez?
Oh my gosh, did I love this report. I mean, it's just fresh air for all of us that are confronting some of the real challenges in our city. Certainly the economic development, the revitalization of our city, the creativity displayed today, but even more fundamentally, the importance of these events, this creativity and fostering a sense of community and restoring our social fabric in the city of Portland. Some of these events have gone back many years. I worked as a security guard at the Irish Festival to pay my soccer dues back in the day. To the Kell Soccer Club, obviously attended the boxing event, we've got to experience firsthand the People's Market this year, and the Formula E event, all beautiful in their own ways, some with some deep tradition and history in the city of Portland, others new creativity, and still others that were unbelievable kind of global exposure for the city of Portland. So you guys are doing all of that, and just really, really appreciate your contribution to the city as we get out of really a tough couple of years. Do want to echo Commissioner Ryan's observations on how we need to continue to stay focused on being a good place to do business, a good place to do events, a good place to film and to create. And that has to be balanced sometimes with our limited resources in public safety. This is an ongoing challenge of how we, use limited resources to support the various things we need to do to keep the lights on in the city, but also to inspire and to reconnect. So I don't want to minimize sometimes the difficult trade-offs there, but we have to be open for business. We have to be open to community events. It is our job. It is imperative. But I also want to recognize that there's sometimes hard work behind the scenes to make that possible. So again, vote to accept this report. What a great one today.
Miller?
Yeah, I'll just join my colleagues in thanking you all for your hard work. It's really fun to watch how this office evolves and expands year by year. Ness and Burke, it seems like a long time ago when this was just a nascent idea, and you've taken it, you've really run with the ball, and I want to thank you. And Elise, you're a terrific addition to this team. And probably, Ness, you're a very good actor, but I think she really stole the show. Although that was a good look for you. I have to say that's one you might want to trot out from time to time just for the fun of it. I agree with my colleagues. This is all good news. This is all leverage. This is all ultimately not only about revitalizing our city and making sure that we bring the economy back, it's also helping us create a sense of place. And more and more we see cities looking the same in terms of what they're trying to do, what they're trying to attract, what they're trying to be. And ideas are shared quickly. And the idea of exceptionalism becomes narrower and narrower. And this is one area where we can continue to shine independently and uniquely as a city. And it's our opportunity to leverage what we have with the resources that we have. And you're doing it beautifully with the events and the activation, which are fantastic, with the film office, which has shown real success. And of course, My People's Market is something that all of us should be very, very proud of in terms of how that's developed and the outcomes it's secured for everybody, frankly, in the community, but especially those vendors that are really trying to get a footing in the local economy. Happy to vote aye. Obviously, the report is accepted. Thank you all. Oh, Keelan, did I ask if there was testimony? I did, and there wasn't. So I vote aye, and the report is accepted. Thanks for your great work on this.
Thank you all. Thank you all, commissioners, and thank you, Mayor Wheeler.
Yeah, and when you guys get the Academy Award, I hope we all get invited. That looks like quite a party down there. And so please invite us for the Academy Awards. Next item, 972, which is a resolution.
Direct the Office of Management and Finance on the plan to accommodate the physical space needs of the new mayor, city administrator, and 12-member city council.
All right, so the last one is going to be a tough act to follow, but I know you can do it. Colleagues, today we're considering a resolution that memorializes the agreed upon timelines for renovating council chambers and workspaces next year in preparation for the new form of government. We've had a lot of discussion to get to this point, and my staff and facilities staff work to reflect the discussion, the concerns, and of course, the final schedule in this resolution. Maddie Sauter is here to walk us through at a very high level and answer any questions you may still have at this point, and then I'll call for a vote, and we can put this issue behind us for the time being. Maddie, good morning.
Good morning, and I would like to reiterate that I don't ever want to be behind the Portland Events and Film Office again in presenting to council. Tough act to follow indeed, and they may in fact produce our future presentations to you because it's much more exciting. So hopefully at this point in time, you're pretty read into the issues that we're bringing forward today. I'm also struggling. I'm on about day 14 of a cold. So I may kick it at some point in time to Caitlin and Randy to take over because I'm not 100% sure that I'm coherent. But I wanted to walk you very briefly through a resolution that has about 47 million whereases in it and then resolves to effectively move forward with what I think we worked pretty hard on as a team back in October to understand the order of operations for renovating City Hall. At a high level, as you already know, we are virtual right now to help support the transmission of certain broadcasting and AV equipment up to the 1900 building so that we can have City Hall be available for as a temporary council chambers for a year starting in 2024. That will be very briefly that we're virtual, and then we'll have those meetings in person up at the 1900 building. We have all also mutually agreed that offices will be decommissioned for a period of time, approximately half of a year in City Hall. Right now, we are currently scheduled to have you go to the 1900 building. We're exploring some other options in case there are things that are more amenable or better. But currently, that is what's programmed in to allow us to renovate the offices and council chambers as well. There are a series of major maintenance projects that we have also added to that scope. The major maintenance projects are things that we long have wanted to accomplish, but the rooms are really hard to take down because they're always occupied. And so this is an ideal time for us to add that to the scope. So we're having to make some changes to what's called the GMP, the guaranteed maximum price allowed amounts. Everything is funded. There's some contractual changes that need to happen, and that's outlined in that very extensive multi-page resolution. And then lastly, we are also working on in-district offices as per Commissioner Ryan's request, and we are slated to give progress reports on that, I think, every 90 days or so. We have visited potential offices in every district. I would say 2 of them seem pretty well nailed down. A third seems very viable, and there's only 1 district that we don't have a particularly great solution for. And so we've engaged with a broker to see if there is a ready-built facility in District 1 that we could contract with. So I want to make sure that we leave time for questions. A lot of this has been pretty well vetted. A lot of it is laid out in the resolution. So I think what I'd rather do than going into a PowerPoint is just simply open it up for questions and make sure that if there are any final questions that we field those right now.
Colleagues, any questions? Doesn't look like it. Do we have public testimony?
I think Commissioner Gonzalez might have his hand up.
Yeah, he does. I'll get to him. Keelan, do we have testimony?
We have 1 person signed up.
All right, let's go to Commissioner Gonzalez, then we'll get to that one individual if they want to come forward.
I just wanted to thank the facilities team for their good work on this. After a lot of discussion, I would like to put it out for my colleagues as we kind of get updated cost estimates for district offices. I would like to kind of recalibrate on total cost. You know, I want to recognize that really the emphasis on district offices largely came from the second floor as we were kind of trying to figure out the relative prioritization. What you presented us with today is very responsive to our comments and concerns. But I just want to acknowledge the tight budget cycle we're in and would like to understand, you know, as we have more information on what those district offices are going to actually cost us. So, and certainly if in this, you guys find some cost engineering that we can unravel as we go through this whole process, I am very, very interested in that. But that just general observation on cost, and I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Commissioner. And we have 1 person signed up for public testimony, Keelan.
That's correct, Janice Thompson.
Welcome, Janice. Janice, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sorry about this. First time I've done it remotely. So Janice Thompson here, speaking for myself. I urge your support of Resolution 972 and applaud the diligent efforts of the city's hardworking facilities staff. The facility staff and transition team planned ahead and ensured that financial support for the City Hall facilities renovations are factored into the current budget using a pre-existing option, a facilities reserve fund. This is also a great opportunity for appropriately funding the opportunity for energy efficiency and other timely improvements with the funding for that coming from a pre-existing account for major maintenance. Understandably, the cost of in-district offices is not yet known, but ensuring adequate funding via the 2024-25 budget process is needed to meet the January 1, 2025 completion date in the resolution before you today. I make this point because if adequate funding is not provided, it should be noted that won't be the fault of the city's facility staff if that timing cannot be met. Again, a major shout out to the facility staff working on this project. Thanks also to the City Council with particular appreciation for the leadership of Mayor Wheeler. I strongly urge a yes vote on Resolution 972. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
You're on mute, Keelan. Oh.
Thanks, Commissioner. Maps.
Aye.
Rubio.
I'm happy to see this plan moving forward and look forward to the continued updates on the process. I vote aye.
Ryan.
Yeah, this formalizes the decisions that were made at our numerous meetings on council facilities. I really want to thank Maddie Souter again for digging in to identify district offices. I feel this is an important part of fulfilling the essence of this charter reform, having representation and presence in our districts. I also want to take a moment to congratulate Maddie for winning the Betsy Ames Award this year. It's well-deserved, and congratulations. I am still very concerned about the total cost of charter reform. The cost of construction in City Hall now sits at almost $5 million. And there's a lot of potholes that could have been filled with that money. I want to reiterate that what Commissioner Gonzalez touched on, we'll be having some hard conversations over the next months about next year's budget. And I look forward to a full report on what the price tag is of charter reform will be. We will have to make some tough decisions, and I appreciate the process. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Wheeler.
I vote aye. The resolution is adopted. Thank you for your hard work on this, everybody. Good job.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next item to the regular agenda, please. Item number 979. It's a second reading.
Adopt changes to the FY 2024-25 and FY 2025-26 current appropriation levels.
Colleagues, this is a second reading of the current appropriation level, or CAL ordinance, that the City Budget Office presented 2 weeks ago. Just as a quick reminder, this is an important starting point for the budget process as it sets the Bureau's base budgets. I'll reemphasize that Council will continue to debate the details of the budget, including issues related to organizational structure that are also included in this ordinance. If anybody has any follow-up questions, we have Director Grew and Deputy Director Levine with us. Does anybody have any further questions on this item before we call the roll? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Abs.
I'm going to vote aye on this ordinance, but I also feel compelled to voice some concerns I have about the city's current financial situation. You know, with this ordinance, this council acknowledges that we expect our structural expenses for the next fiscal year to increase, and those increases are largely driven by charter reform. At the same time, our fiscal forecast warn us that our revenues for next year are most likely to be flat. These two conflicting trends are untenable. At the end of the day, we are going to have to adopt a budget which is in balance. And it sure looks like that's going to mean cuts. And this is not only cuts to services, I fear, in fact, I know this will also mean cuts to staff. And that difficult fact we have yet to come to terms with. I recognize that for the sake of planning, we need to pass this CAL ordinance, but I'm awfully concerned about the direction we are going in. But having voiced that, I do not see a way to make this better at this hour, so I vote aye.
Review.
Aye.
Ryan.
Yeah, I want to thank Tim and Ruth for the meeting yesterday. It makes it really easy to accept this. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
I want to echo Commissioner Maps's comments and observations here. I see approving this ordinance as a necessary step in the timely preparation of the budget, that it's an essential component in that process. I appreciate the Budget's Office walking me through the importance from a procedural perspective, particularly in a difficult budget year, not just because of revenue and growing expenses in one time, but also because we're going to present it in a way that we've not done it previously. So it's a important step there. But I do want to reiterate that when we get into the full budget discussions, I will be a fierce advocate for preserving public safety staffing. And while I recognize that we are unleashing a step here that is going to create greater burden on bureaus and some potentially, just want to make that crystal clear. I will fiercely fight for staffing and public safety in this environment. And that means there's fewer pies to take from as you know, we get into the budget cycle. But with that, I vote aye.
Wheeler.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Ruth. Excellent work to the Budget Office. I vote aye. The resolution is adopted. Thank you very much. The ordinance, sorry. 980 is next. It's a report.
Accept bid from Remick Construction Incorporated for the construction of Mount Scott Community Center seismic retrofit and expansion projects for $25,532,000.
Colleagues, this report authorizes construction for the Mount Scott Community Center seismic retrofit and expansion project. This project will bring the Mount Scott Community Center into compliance with current seismic resilience standards. It'll improve ADA access and expand recreational and programming opportunities for the public. We have Chief Procurement Officer Biko Taylor here to present the item. Welcome, Biko.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. Good morning. Mayor Wheeler, good morning to City Council. For the record, my name is Biko Taylor. I am the Chief Procurement Officer. On May 24th, 2023, Council approved ordinance number 191288 to competitively solicit Mount Scott Community Center seismic retrofit and expansion project in accordance with PCC 5.34. Procurement advertised and received bids for bid number 2180 on behalf of the Portland Parks and Recreation Bureau, with project construction estimated at the time at $28.293 million, with a medium confidence level. The bid opened on October 26, 2023, and in total, procurement received two bids. The lowest responsive bid was presented by Bremick Construction, and thus it's recommended that we accept the estimated quoted proposal amount of $25.53 million, which is 9% under the engineering estimate. For the record, this was a low bid project. On this project, the city had a contractual equity goal of 25% for hard construction costs. Bremick did supply a supply utilization form. Bremick did fall short of that goal. The total subcontracting goal and performance on this project will be 19.62%. So that fell roughly 4.5% under the aspirational goal. Bremick will self-perform 28% of the project, and the rest will be subcontracted out at 52.3% for non-certified firms. It is recommended that a payment performance bond, each at 100% of the contract amount, will be furnished by the contractor. And it's also recommended that a 2-year maintenance warranty bond for 20% of the final contract be furnished by the contractor before the final payment is released. Procurement Services recommends that council accept this bid and authorize the Chief Procurement Officer to execute the contract with Bremick Construction. I would like to add some remarks, Mayor Wheeler, if that's appropriate.
Go for it.
After some calculations, I've determined that although we do have a 19.62% co-bid participation percentage on this project, which represents roughly $5 million total, we only have a 1.264% representation from minority contractors. I just wanted to acknowledge that that's a failure. I think we should do better. This does not fall into the category of an equity topic. This simply falls into the category of an operational challenge. This contract was bid at low bid. This was a contract that should have been bid under the CMGC methodology. I think we failed our minority community on this contract, and I want to go on the record as saying that. With that, that concludes my report.
Very good, colleagues. Any questions for Director Taylor? Do we have any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So moved.
Thanks, Commissioner Mapps. Can I get a second?
Second.
Commissioner Ryan, thank you. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mapps.
I want to thank Director Taylor for today's presentation and for his team's work on this project. I also very much appreciate the frank assessment about how we're doing on minority contracting and the clear recommendation on how we could have done better here. Your thoughts on that are noted, and I hope that council behaves differently as we move forward with projects like this. But in the meantime, I vote aye.
Rubio.
This is an important project for the community that's been waiting for this. So on that end, you know, I'm happy to see it move forward. However, I also, Director Taylor, really appreciate your frankness and directness about where our work is cut out for us. It's very refreshing to have to know what's actually at stake here and having that pointed out. So I'm too disappointed that we fell short. But I will vote in favor of this to keep the project going, but also will be very interested to see how we do better moving forward. I vote aye.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Director Taylor, for highlighting the operational challenge and what we need to do to make it right going forward. And I really encourage you to keep being that leader that works with the Bureau partners to make it different going forward. So I wanted to get that out first. These community centers are the heart and soul of our communities, and this closure will be a major inconvenience for a lot of people. And I will confidently say you won't be disappointed when it reopens. But I want to thank you in advance for mitigating this challenge during the closure period. The Mount Scott Community Center will be upgraded, retrofitted, and ready to host friends, family, and students in neighborhoods in this vibrant community. It's going to be really nice. And so anyway, thanks again for the short-term sacrifice as we move forward. I vote aye. Accept the report.
Gonzalez.
I think the sticker shock a little bit on this project. It's just worth emphasizing to those listening at home that, you know, when we talk about resiliency, we often don't talk enough about resiliency to seismic events, and these expenditures are substantial. We have a lot of unfunded need in our community, including in the city's assets, and there's really no easy way out of that. So this is a necessary investment. Look forward to seeing what the center will look like afterwards. Excited about it in that respect. And this is a step for a portion of our resiliency objectives. I vote aye.
Taylor.
I vote aye. Thank you, Director Taylor. Thanks, colleagues. The report is accepted. Thank you. 981, please. And this is also a report.
Accept recommendation of the Chief Procurement Officer to award contract to Axon Enterprise Incorporated to implement the body-worn camera program in the Portland Police Bureau not to exceed $2,600,000.
Colleagues, as you all know, PPB recently completed a pilot to evaluate Axon body cam equipment. With us today is our Chief Procurement Officer, again, Vico Taylor, to report out on the pilot, as well as to discuss moving forward with a longer-term contract to bring body cams to the Portland Police Bureau for the long term. Director Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler. On February 9, 2022, City Council approved Ordinance 190696 for procurement services to use a contract-specific special procurement procedure in accordance with Portland City Code 5.33 to enter into a contract to pilot test body-worn cameras from proposers within the solicitation's competitive range. At that time, the Chief Procurement Officer received and advertised proposals for RFP 0001802 on behalf of the Portland Police Bureau from qualified firms and contractors with demonstrated experience in body-worn camera programs. On March 25th, 2022, 4 proposals were received. Proposals were evaluated over multiple phases in accordance with RFP requirements. And on May 10th, 2022, a notice of intent to award was issued to Axon Enterprise Incorporated. No protests were received. On April 1st, 2023, the Portland Police Bureau entered into a contract to pilot body-worn cameras from the highest scoring proposer. The evaluation committee tested the body-worn camera system starting on August 21st, 2023, and ending on August 19th, 2023. Again, I want to reiterate, there was a test phase from August 21st, 2023 to October 19th, 2023. Every member of the evaluation committee approved a body-worn camera system with a passing score. Axon, the awarded contractor, holds a current City of Portland business tax registration and are in full compliance with all city contracting requirements. Procurement Services recommends that council accept this report and authorize the chief procurement officer to execute a contract with the awarded contractor. I do believe I have colleagues from PPB online to answer questions. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Taylor. Colleagues, any questions? Commissioner Maps.
I have a quick one. Director Taylor, this might actually be one for the Police Bureau. There are at least two components, at least when I think about this, to the body-worn camera program. There's the hardware, and then there's sort of the back office stuff where we have to store the data and review the data. I'm wondering what, if anything, we've learned about reviewing data. What new costs? Are there new costs that will come about in order to kind of evaluate the information that comes through the cameras? Are those costs substantial, or did the pilot give us enough information to get a sense of what that back office piece of the body-worn camera program looks like?
Commissioner Maps, thank you for your question. I'm going to cede that to my colleague Tammy Mayer. Tammy, if you're online, or Catherine Lindsay, can you offer insight to Commissioner Maps' question? Please come on and address it if you're online.
Hi, this is Tammy Mayer. I'm the program manager for body-worn cameras, among other things, in the Police Bureau. So the pilot, which ran for 2 months, gave us not only the opportunity to test the equipment, the cameras, the mounts, the vehicle triggers and such, but it also gave us the opportunity to test the back office software, both from an officer perspective and from a professional staff perspective of running the system. The software performed very well. There was one add-on that I wasn't quite satisfied with, and I gave my suggestions to Axon, and we will not be purchasing it at this time unless they take some of my suggestions into account. But for the most part, the system worked very well. We worked in conjunction with the DA to provide the videos for court cases and such, and they liked how it worked. The officers had some minor issues, but I think most of it revolved around the policy piece, which is in discussions again. But the software worked really well. The equipment worked really well, and we have no concerns at this time. As for the cost piece, the software comes along, the licensing for the software comes along with the cost for the officers, and then we'll pay an additional licensing for the professional staff that don't have the camera but will need to access the backend software, evidence.com, as well. That's all tied up. They gave us a quote that covered the estimated number of users we would have when I did the estimates like a year and a half ago. Those estimates are actually a little lower than we believe we need at this time. So we're redoing the quote from the vendor to cover the current sworn numbers, the current professional staff numbers. And then in the future, it's possible we will look at adding other evidence to evidence.com to kind of co-locate things into one location to make it easier for us to pass that information to the DA or to redact information and such. But for right now, the cost will cover the needs in the use of the system. I hope that answered your question.
It sure does. And let me just quickly follow up. Are we getting any feedback from the DA? One of the things that I'm curious about is if this new tool imposes new costs on the district attorney, and if they're equipped to absorb those costs and deal with this information.
Yeah, we work closely with the DA during the pilot itself as we started transferring information into their evidence.com system. They're actually purchasing an upgrade to their system. And they had a demo on it, I believe 2 weeks ago. So there are costs associated. And I know there's costs associated with them now having to review videos and such. I don't know what those costs are. But it's technology, and technology does not reduce costs. It usually increases costs because now you need people to deal with that technology.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to hear that the pilot went well, and I'm delighted to hear that the costs are roughly within our expectations. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. I'll hand the floor back to you.
Very good. Colleagues, any further questions? Do we have public testimony, Keelan?
We do. We have 2 people signed up. First up, Mark Morris, Portland Cop Watch.
Morning.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Great. Hi, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Mark Porras. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm testifying as a member of Portland Cop Watch. The item before you today is about body-worn cameras, which many believe will make the Police Bureau a more transparent agency. It's ironic that the memorandum declares that when evaluating Axon's cameras, the evaluation committee approved the body-worn camera system with a passing score, but it doesn't reveal who was on the evaluation committee, whether any community members were included, or what criteria were used to conduct the evaluation. The city is about to invest $2.6 million in this technology, which is going to be utilized to launch the project and cover training for officers and partially cover ongoing annual costs. We understand there's a lot of pressure to get this project going. However, the public deserves explanations from the city about a number of things before moving forward. What were the outcomes during the pilot project with regard to officer accountability, the main reason the city sold the public on these devices? In early October, with only 15 days left in the pilot project, the Independent Police Review reported that IPR has multiple investigations underway that involve body-worn cameras, and we are working through access issues with PPB Records Division. Anyone who's actually watched body camera footage knows that the focus is not on the police officers who may be subjected to complaints, but rather on the community members they approach. As such, Portland Cop Watch continues to believe that a better way to hold police accountable is to encourage and protect people who record police activity as third parties. That's also known as cop watching. The second question is, were there more instances where community members were convicted of crimes during the trial period than officers held accountable for misconduct? If so, the cameras are being purchased under a misleading pretext, and policies need to be narrowed to prevent more over-policing of underrepresented populations. Portland Cop Watch also continues to be concerned that the city is seeking ways to circumvent the state statute prohibiting spying on First Amendment protected activities. There already has been a discussion about the 30-second buffer of footage that's captured before an officer turns their camera on, and whether that might be a violation of ORS 181A.250. To comply with the statute, any footage that's used from those 30 seconds should have to be reviewed and, if necessary, deleted. We won't go into the pitfalls of dealing directly with Axon, which under its former name, Taser International, figured out how to make a fortune selling gadgets to every police department in America for every officer, and selling updates as the technology ages and fails or newer models come onto the market. Body-worn cameras are another example of how the spend-to-end cycle works. We wrote to the person who posted this item in hopes of seeing the actual evaluation criteria and report. We learned the information does indeed exist, however, they would not release it to us without a public records request. In the interest of transparency, we would like to express our disappointment in the city's opacity, particularly around technology that's intended to open the police bureau to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Meg Robinson.
Welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Meg.
So I'm grateful to be following up on Mr. Porras, because I do just have information for you. You can access all of those documents on BuySpeed. Portland has its own website. You just click through there, like there's a proposal tab, and then you can find all of the information that you mentioned. Body-worn cameras are pretty much universally acknowledged among all researchers who have studied it, which there has been extensive research, universally acknowledged to be effective at improving community police relations and also improving officer accountability. The instances of complaints of excessive use of force across the board has gone down, and significantly for a city that is contemplating a tough budget cycle ahead, it reduces the cost of liability payouts to those who file suits against the police. So I just want to thank council, hopefully, for approving this, because body worn cameras are a great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Meg. Thanks, both of you. That completes public testimony, Keelan.
That's correct.
Very good. This is a report. Unless anybody has any questions, I'll entertain a motion to accept the report.
So
moved.
Commissioner Maps moves, Commissioner Gonzalez seconds. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Maps,
Aye.
Rubio,
Aye.
Ryan, Gonzalez.
Just want to first observe my disappointment with the segment of the police accountability advocacy community that continues to attempt to make the perfect the enemy of the good. This is an important step forward for the city of Portland. It's long overdue. It is imperative in addressing police accountability. It is imperative in mitigating our risk of sometimes unfounded claims made against Portland police. It's an essential step. So I wholeheartedly vote to accept this report, but continue to be concerned about a small segment of the city that lets the perfect be the opposite of the good.
Taylor.
Yeah, I want to thank Director Taylor for the presentation and for the work your team, as well as the Portland Police Bureau team, has put into this project and evaluating the vendor and the equipment. I'm pleased that the equipment was well reviewed during the pilot. I also want to just caution the public, it's going to take some time for us to phase in the rollout of body cameras and make sure that everybody has sufficient training and sufficient understanding of how these tools will work. But as is obvious, I'm not alone in wanting to roll out body cameras bureau-wide as soon as possible. Very happy to vote aye. The report is accepted. Thank you. Next item, 982, which is a resolution.
Adopt City of Portland investment policy.
The City of Portland's Treasury Division manages an investment portfolio of approximately $3 billion, which represents cash balances as well as other funds available for general city operations. Investment decisions are guided by state law as well as the city's investment policy. The Treasury Division uses their professional expertise and their discretion to make investment decisions for the city, but within accordance with this policy. The city has three broad investment objectives: to preserve principal, to ensure adequate liquidity, and to earn a market rate of return. Oregon law pertaining to the investment of public funds requires the city to adopt an investment policy annually. City Council last adopted the city's investment policy on November 9th, 2022, and there are no proposed changes to the existing policy that we'll be voting on today. In the interest of transparency, the Treasury Division has posted the city's investment portfolio online since 2013. It's available to anybody who care to view it. The month-end line-by-line portfolio reports can be found at www.portland.gov/OMF/BRFS/Treasury. No, you won't remember that, but it is there for you to find if you Google it online. City Treasurer Bridget O'Callahan is here to present the city's investment policy for adoption. Welcome, Bridget.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Bridget O'Callahan, and I'm Portland City Treasurer. Joining me also today is the city's investment officer, Michael Montgomery. We are here today to present the city's investment policy for your consideration. Oregon law, as the mayor referenced, pertaining to the investment of public funds requires the city to adopt the investment policy annually. The purpose of this resolution is to seek council's approval to renew the use of our existing investment policy, and we are not proposing any changes to the policy this year. The investment policy describes the framework and criteria for investing the city's cash assets. So the investment policy serves as a guide to offer an objective course of action to be followed. This is especially important during periods of market disruption when emotional or instinctive responses might otherwise motivate less than prudent actions. The investment earnings make a significant contribution to the city's budget and to the programs and services that bureaus provide. The investment earnings net of a fee to cover Treasury's administrative operating costs are distributed to various funds. In fiscal year 22-23, Treasury earned $52.8 million on the portfolio, and fiscal year to date through October 2023, Treasury has earned $28 million on the portfolio. These proceeds go directly back to the bureaus and are incorporated into their budgets. The performance of the portfolio is monitored against appropriate benchmarks for similar portfolios, and as referenced by the mayor, this information can be found at the city's website. The City of Portland's investment policy is actually a little more restrictive than state law requires. We have limited our investment parameters to include investment-bearing deposits, United States Treasury or agency securities, and a select group of corporate securities. We believe that the city's investment policy is a responsible approach to investing the city's cash assets, and we are seeking council's adoption of the investment policy as presented. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Very good. Colleagues, any questions? Do we have any public testimony, Keelan?
No one signed up.
All right, very good. This is a resolution. Please call the roll.
Maps.
I want to thank staff for the presentation today. I'm going to vote yes on this item. I also want to express my desire that sometime within the next 13 months, perhaps we could do a work session that talks about the city's investment policy. I'm also having a fuller discussion about how the city manages its debt and manages its credit ratings would be appropriate topics for conversation before our terms end. Let's put it that way. But in the meantime, I'm happy to vote yes on this one.
Rubio.
Thank you, Bridget, for your presentation today, and thanks for answering questions from this week from my office. I'm also very interested in engaging more on this issue and making sure that we're fully divesting from fossil fuels and also nuclear weapons so that we can continue to be in alignment with our stated values. So in the coming year, I greatly appreciate your team working with my staff to explore how we are continuing to do this, or we're doing this at all. So I vote aye. Thanks.
Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Bridget. I vote aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Wheeler.
Continue the good work, Bridget. We appreciate it. Thank you. I vote aye, and the resolution is adopted. Next item, please. 983. This is an ordinance. First reading of a non-emergency ordinance.
Replace sewer user charges code to streamline and align with rate study recommendations.
Commissioner Maps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colleagues, this item comes to us from the Bureau of Environmental Services. This ordinance presents the results and recommendations from a rate study for services provided by BES. The ordinance before us calls on council to adopt most, but not all, of the recommendations contained in that rate study. We should probably start out today by defining our terms. What is a rate study? Now, even answering that question requires some context. Broadly speaking, BES provides two basic services to Portlanders. First, we collect and clean the wastewater that flows through your sinks, bathtubs, and toilets. And second, we collect and clean the stormwater that falls from the sky. Now, that's why when Portlanders look at their utility bill that they receive from the city, they will see a charge for wastewater and they will see a separate charge for stormwater. The question our rate study attempts to answer is this: do BES rates for wastewater and stormwater reflect the true relative cost of providing those services? Now, answering that question allows this council to align BES's rates for wastewater and stormwater services more closely with the relative cost of providing those services. Now, in other words, and here I'm going to pick some hypothetical numbers, if BES spends 75% of its resources on providing wastewater services and spends 25% of its resources on providing stormwater services, then in an ideal world, 75% of BES's revenue should come from wastewater charges, and 25% of BES's revenue should come from charges on stormwater services. Now, the proposed rate changes in this ordinance are designed to bring about that kind of alignment and equilibrium. Now, it's also important to be clear on what this rate study does not do. This rate study does not raise new revenue. This rate study, to be clear, is revenue neutral. Simply put, by passing this ordinance, this council will ensure that the charges that Portlanders see on their bill for wastewater and stormwater reflect the true relative cost of providing those services. Now, let me simplify things a lot and give you a sense of what our rate study found. Very broadly, under our current rate structure, wastewater charges are subsidizing stormwater services, and residential customers are subsidizing commercial customers. The rate shifts proposed in this ordinance are designed to bring those rates into a more equitable equilibrium. Now, here to tell us more about this ordinance, we have Don Uchiyama, Director of Environmental Services. We also have Farshad Aladadi, a Business Services Manager for Environmental Services. And we also have Anthony Martin, a financial planning manager with Environmental Services. And with that, I will turn the floor over to my team from BES. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapps. Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, City Council. For the record, Don Uchiyama, the Director of the Bureau of Environmental Services, commonly known as BES. I'd like to start by grounding us in our mission. Commissioner Mapps gave us a good overview, but let's start with our mission. It guides everything that we do, it makes every decision we make, and that all ratepayers support. Environmental Services is Portland's sewer and stormwater utility. We manage Portland's wastewater and stormwater infrastructure to protect public health and the environment. I want to emphasize that every Portland resident, visitor, and business depends on the essential services that BES provides every hour of the day, rain or shine. Next slide. From a public health perspective, the most critical part of our mission is to treat and manage wastewater or sewage and to protect public health from sewage releases to homes, businesses, and the environment, including our cherished rivers and streams. We build, repair, and manage hundreds of miles of pipes, many of them are quite large, as well as close to 100 pump stations and 2 wastewater treatment plants to meet this mission. Because Portland has combined sewers, meaning wastewater and stormwater are combined into one network of pipes, our treatment plants have a lot more work to do when it rains. Combined sewer pipes that carry rain and sewage can increase the load at our Columbia Boulevard wastewater treatment plant, for instance, from 70 million gallons a day under normal conditions to 450 million gallons a day when it rains. Next slide. From an environmental perspective, managing stormwater is also essential to a functioning city. In addition to increased load at the treatment plant that I mentioned that they have to manage, stormwater has other impacts. Rain in the wrong place can paralyze our city, making travel impossible, shutting down streets and commerce, endangering lives, damaging homes and businesses, as well as the environment. So our work to manage the stormwater system prevents those impacts and is intricately connected with managing our wastewater system. Next slide. So effectively managing stormwater allows us to keep untreated sewage out of the Willamette River. Due to our ongoing work, especially the so-called big pipes that we put in on both sides of the Willamette River, the river is now clean enough to swim and play in. We all know what a difference this investment has made. Before the big pipes were built, almost every time it rained, stormwater overwhelmed our combined system and sent untreated sewage into the river. That's no longer the case. Today, the river is a major asset for recreation and commerce and wildlife. Rain or shine, this is work that all Portlanders can celebrate and support, whether we live near the river or far from it. So most importantly, the wastewater treatment and stormwater management are essential services supported by our ratepayers. This protects public health and keeps our rivers and other water bodies clean. So now that I've given you an overview of the BES mission, I want to turn it over to Anthony Martin, who will answer more specifically and add more detail. What is a rate study and why are these rate study recommendations important to Portlanders? Anthony?
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Council. For the record, Anthony Martin. A rate study is a broad term that covers financial valuation processes where a utility, environmental services, reviews its rate structure to make sure that the cost for ratepayers is proportional to their impact and use on the system. Rate studies are routine, technical, and a best practice for all utilities. They are meant to correct for cost imbalances and should be conducted regularly. The recommendations are revenue neutral, as Commissioner Mapps said. They benefit BES customers, not BES. BES collects the same amount either way. And now we ask why we should conduct a rate study. First and most importantly, is the Council instructed BES to conduct a rate study in 2018. Also, as noted before, it is a best practice for all utilities. The last external rate study was completed in 2005, 18 years ago, so updating our rates is long overdue. Finally, BES hired a highly respected independent consultant to carry it out, and we learned a lot. The rate study recommendations also align with city core values, most notably fiscal responsibility, equity, and transparency. Now that we have answered what a rate study is and why BES conducted it, we will discuss what the rate study recommended. First, BES has invested substantially in stormwater management over the last 20 years, and the rates need to shift to reflect this change. Second, BES should more closely charge each customer based on the cost of providing service. The changes in bills for commercial and industrial customers really show the first two recommendations clearly. The first recommendation is to adjust rates to align with stormwater investments since the last rate study. As you can see for these two example customers, one with high amounts of sanitary flow, like the medical center on the left, will see a decrease to their bill, whereas customers with high amounts of stormwater billable area, the office campus on the right, will see an increase to their bill. As a note, all impacts on this and other similar slides are shown as monthly changes. The second recommendation is to charge special customer classes more closely on the cost of providing service. This means our extra strength rates will decrease, and customers like breweries and restaurants will see a decrease in their bill. The next recommendation is to promote affordability for most residential customers. This is reflected by two major changes. First, we will eliminate flat stormwater charges for homeowners and instead adjust charges so that smaller homes are billed less and larger homes are billed more. Previously, all single dwelling unit properties were charged one flat rate for stormwater. Tiering rates will lower costs for approximately 80% of single dwelling residential customers, shown in Tier 1, low, and Tier 2, medium, in the graphic on the screen. Another component of the recommendations is to add a factor calculating your stormwater bill based on the number of people on a property. An equivalent service unit, or ESU, ensures that BES collects costs related to our population, such as right-of-way cleaning and permitting requirements, from properties in alignment with the cost of providing service. This means that denser multifamily customers will pay more, while less dense customers will pay slightly less. The next recommendation is to improve system development charges to simplify the application process and incentivize affordable housing development. These changes will cut sanitary and stormwater system development charges by approximately 25% for smaller single dwelling unit homes. Similar benefits will be seen for smaller missing middle multifamily housing SDCs. The next recommendation is to lower the cost to connect to our system. These connection charges, which are called line and branch and sanitary sewer conversion charges, can often shock ratepayers with thousands of dollars in unexpected charges. These connection charges are a legacy of the 30-plus-year-old Mid-County Sewer Project and are still in city code. These code requirements can result in huge bills when a property first connects to the sanitary system. And these recommendations retire these code requirements now that development needs and circumstances have changed. The next recommendation is to expand our Clean River Awards incentive program to more customers and make it simpler to register. This program provides a 35% discount on stormwater bills for customers that disconnect their downspouts or otherwise manage stormwater on their property. This proposed change will also make it easier for customers to fix any potential issues with compliance while still maintaining their discount eligibility. One important note is that the existing 33,000 participants will not see a change in their discount. Next up, we'll talk a little more about special customer rates. The rate study recommends that BES bill drainage district customers based on the cost of serving them, calculated by the consultant as 96.6% of the rate that properties outside of the drainage districts pay. Drainage district customers are currently charged 65% of the rate for properties outside of those districts per an intergovernmental agreement reached with the drainage districts in 2013. Next, the rate study also recommended that BES bill overwater structures based on the cost of serving them. However, the current ordinance before you maintains the exemption for overwater structures so that they are not billed for stormwater services. Since 2018, BES has not charged overwater structures for stormwater services and will continue that practice if and when this ordinance takes effect beginning July 1, 2024. Finally, we will discuss implementation of these recommendations. First, BES recommends to phase in rates over 3 years for highly impacted customers. Second, the code underlying BES charges is what you all are here today voting on. Third, following council's vote, BES will update rules and additional analysis to implement code in the winter of this year and spring of next year. And finally, BES will be working with the Portland Water Bureau on implementation and public education about these bill changes now until well after the implementation of these recommendations on July 1, 2024. With that, thank you very much for your time on this important topic. I will turn it back to council and we are here to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Mayor, colleagues, if we have any questions, we can obviously take them now. I do believe there are people signed up to testify on this item too.
Very good. Any burning questions? If not, why don't we go right to testimony? Keelan, how many people do we have signed up?
Thank you, Mayor. We have 10 people signed up.
All right, 3 minutes each. Name for the record, please.
First up, we have Ron Schmidt.
Thank you, Mayor Wheeler and commissioners. Please vote yes, subject to changes on agenda item 983. For the record, I am Ron Schmidt. I am a floating homeowner and president of the statewide waterfront organizations of Oregon. We represent within the city almost 700 floating homeowners, many limited income, many in affordable housing, as well as related businesses on the Willamette and Columbia Rivers. I want to thank Commissioner Mapps for fixing a major flaw in charging fees for overwater structures, which don't use the stormwater system, yet are already charged for their upland areas. We will provide written testimony on the actual fixes needed until BES will be able to come back and apply the fees in the future. Contrary to what BES says, there has never been a legal stormwater fee charge for overwater surfaces in the history of Portland. In 2015, BES arbitrarily decided to break with decades of policy and ignore city code to assess stormwater fees on floating homes, causing rates to triple and quadruple. Your own appeals review committee agreed the city code regarding stormwater does not apply to overwater structures. Years of illegal charges were returned. An attempt to pass an emergency ordinance was blocked by city council, labeling it an interim exemption when in fact there had never been an overwater fee. A comprehensive rate study was ordered, bringing us to where we are today. But this time, BES doubled down and went for all overwater structures, including boathouses, covered boat slips, and more. Then on top of that, they went after pervious slotted docks. Then they went after the floating decks behind our floating homes, even though equivalent decks on land homes would not be charged. This is an illegal tax, not a fee. The studies and consultant reports are flawed, and what documentation is provided does not support their allegations. The charges and definition will have unintended negative consequences for all ratepayers in the city. Our WU statement of purpose says that we foster of Oregon's waterways with an eye towards environmental responsibility. We are proud of our stewardship, and we have lobbied, testified, and supported $8 million in abandoned derelict vessel funding and implementation, lobbied for closure of beaches that were causing contamination. We even helped remove the 2 major vessels that were sunk at the front door of our beautiful city of Portland. We are environmental stewards. If there is a contamination issue, we want to address it. It has nothing to do with charging rates. Thank you for your consideration today.
Next up, we have Timothy Gorman.
Anytime. Okay. Hi, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioner Maps, and the City Council. I want to thank you for listening to the concerns of the community of overwater structures and continuing the exemption. That's great. The problem is that some of the language that's contained in the rate study definitely needs to be addressed and refuted. Owners of overwater structures have always paid their fair share, as Mr. Schmidt mentioned. Overwater structures do not and never have directly impacted the stormwater infrastructure. It's just common sense. Therefore, this is not a fee for which services must be rendered. If it's not a fee, then it's got to be a tax. This is not the way the taxes are passed. The concept of an indirect impact for stormwater infrastructure should not apply to fees. By definition, it should apply to taxes. And again, this is not the way the taxes are passed. But most importantly, the BES rate study by Ghilardi-Rothstein Group and the BES costs at least $350,000. Took several years to develop, but it does not reference the specific government agencies or the information that they hold that are responsible for water quality in Portland. Okay, that due diligence is missing. Instead, the BES and Ghilardi-Rothstein Group freely and casually make allegations about overwater structures potentially affecting water quality without facts. Then propose their fees for the infrastructure as a solution. The rate study cites general studies on the general topic of water quality about the impact that the materials can have, without any reference to Portland water quality or overwater structures in Portland. We who reside on those overwater structures live and work directly on the water, inches from the water typically. We spend most of our lives, and we're extremely sensitive to any of the effects on water quality because we're right there. Accusations that we're contaminating that water must be proven, not merely speculated, as in the proposal. These allegations, lacking facts about Portland water quality aimed at residents of overwater structures, approaches the definition, in my mind, approaches the definition for libel. In summary, I believe the BES and Ghilardi-Rothstein Group use these allegations as a political maneuver known as greenwashing. And we're weary of fighting this maneuver. Overall, I strongly recommend that the BES and the Ghilardi-Rothstein Group either retract their speculative allegations on the impact of overwater structures on Portland water quality, or else provide facts from the agencies responsible for water quality directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Keelan, I've had a request. I'm sorry, I took my eye off the clock here. Could we please take a 5-minute recess and give folks a 5-minute humanity break here?
Sure, thank you.
Good. We're in recess for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Commissioners. My name is Steve Harkins. I live at West Hayden Island Mortgage in a floating home. And I would like to urge you to vote yes with changes to agenda item 983. As part of the rate study, BES asked its consultants to look at how other places in the Northwest handle stormwater charges for overwater structures, including floating homes. The consultants looked at 8 different places. Of those 8 places, 4 did not have floating home communities. Of the 4 that did have floating home communities, all of them exempted floating homes from these charges. So once again, looking in the Northwest, all of the places the consultants found that have floating home communities excluded these communities from these charges. The amended ordinance aligns with the stormwater practices of these 4 places by continuing the practice of exempting floating homes from stormwater billing. Although other changes may be needed to be made to this ordinance, for example, explicitly saying that overwater structures are exempted, the amended ordinance is a big change in the right direction. I would like to thank Commissioner Mapps for the role he played in this process. Several weeks ago, his office arranged for listening sessions for overwater customers. After the sessions had concluded, I approached residents in my mortgage to see how it had gone. All of them said that they had been able to make their points, but then they all went on to say that they were sure it wouldn't make a difference. So I'm happy to say today that it has made a difference. Commissioner Mapps listened to us and acted on what he heard, and I would like to thank him for doing that. I'm going out with the bell. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have James Adams.
Yes, for the record, my name is James Adams or Jazz Adams. These comments supplement my written testimony. I own a sailboat in a nonprofit marina that would be adversely affected by imposing an stormwater infrastructure fee on overwater structures. And I guess my narrow point today would be to point out that I just have a quibble with the way that the fee is characterized, or the action is characterized in the report that the consultant prepared, and that was characterized as exempting overwater structures from the stormwater infrastructure fee. And strictly speaking, I guess my view on this would be that the stormwater infrastructure fee is actually inapplicable to overwater structures completely, as a matter of logic and just as the way that the fee is defined. A stormwater infrastructure fee is imposed on users of the infrastructure in order to maintain the infrastructure. And in this case, overwater structures do not use any stormwater infrastructure. The rain falls onto the impervious surfaces on overwater structures and goes directly into the river. So as a matter of logic, and almost as by definition, it would be anomalous, it would be invalid on its face to impose a stormwater infrastructure user fee on non-users of that infrastructure. So that's my quibble with the consultant's report, that the action is really couched in terms of exempting overwater structures. Really properly should be a recognition or an acknowledgement that such a imposition of such a fee on non-users of the infrastructure is actually invalid on its face. That's my input. I want to commend Commissioner Maps for actually for not including in agenda item 983 the proposal that had been in agenda item 742 to impose an infrastructure user fee on overwater structures. That is definitely a move in the right direction, and I want to thank him for that specifically. That concludes my comments today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Marina Calvert.
Good morning, Council. This is Marina Calvert. I am an attorney at Schwab, Williamson & Wyatt, and I represent an organization created by citizens who oppose BES's proposed code change. Over the past few months, Commissioner Maps has met with us, as you've heard, and listened to our concerns, resulting in the revised proposed code before you today. Thank you very much, Commissioner Maps. It's made a world of difference. While the revised code no longer expressly applies to overwater structures, we remain concerned because the revision still establishes a new special tax assessment, those words are actually in the code itself, and massively expands the city's stormwater assessment authority. As you may know, Article 11 of the Oregon Constitution defines a tax. Paraphrasing, it is any charge imposed by a government on a property owner as a direct consequence of owning property. 31 years ago, the Oregon Tax Court in Dennehy versus City of Gresham found that Gresham's stormwater user charge was a tax under this definition. Because it was a tax, it could not be billed with the water and sewer charges. It had to be certified for collection by the county tax assessor under state law. The revised proposed code ignores this ruling. It imposes stormwater user charges directly on property owners to be collected with water charges and only certifies them for collection to the county tax assessor if the property owner doesn't timely pay. Pages 3, 5, and 6 of the summary of the revised proposed code changes in your city council packet today expressly admits this. In fact, the summary states that the changes in the proposed code are being made, and I quote, to facilitate levying special tax assessments on property owners, end quote. This council does not have authority to establish a new property tax for stormwater fees through these proceedings today. Moreover, this council recently adopted Resolution 37629 on enterprise zone expansions and Emergency Ordinance 191451, Downtown Business Incentive Tax Credit, to reduce tax burdens in the city of Portland. During a recent interview, Mayor Wheeler acknowledged that people have fled Portland over the last few years because they're frustrated by what they pay to live here, taxes-wise, and what they get in return, services-wise. This proposed code makes that problem worse. In addition to creating a new tax, the BES proposed code massively expands the city's stormwater assessment authority without explaining to you that that's what it's doing. It does this by redefining the term impervious surface area to apply to anything upon which rain falls. The changes would also allow stormwater fees to be imposed on pervious surface areas through which rain can pass. This means, other than compacted soils and compacted gravel, which are expressly excluded, the proposed code does not place any limits on the surface areas the city can tax with stormwater fees. This means it could also tax overwater structures, even though the code has been revised expressly to remove that authority. There's no discussion, explanation, or justification for these changes in the rate study. This is a sneaky way to change city code and create a new tax. It seems to me this city council should not want any part of it. Thank you for your time. Please vote no on the BES revised proposed Chapter 1736 until these problems are fixed.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yeah, Mayor, I just want to, Ms. Colbert, I have your letter here outlining your questions and concerns here. There are a number of pretty technical pieces to your observation, and I'm not sure we can fully flesh that out in open forum right now. I just kind of want to digest it. I guess this is a question back to Commissioner Maps and to BS. You know, how do we sort of go through the more technical questions? Maybe we need to consult our own city attorney on some pieces of this, on the tax questions. I don't want to put you in a bind right now. I just, the question about whether this is a, you know, workaround tax that needs to be separately authorized, I'm not sure if that's been fully assessed and evaluated internally. And And again, I don't want to put you on the spot right now, but do you have any comments on it that you feel comfortable saying and right now? And I'd start there. I have a secondary
Commissioner,
question.
I will, in a second, I'm going to hand it over to Dawn to see if she, or my director, to see if she has any thoughts she wants to share here. I can certainly speak to the intent or the lack of intent that is contained in this ordinance today. The purpose of this is not to kind of to go into a closet and create the infrastructure for some new tax that will appear at some point. Instead, what we're really trying to do is to try to make sure that we have the right balance between the charges that we make for stormwater and the charges that we make for wastewater. And for the most part, as I think we heard in our presentation, I think 80% of single family home, 80% of folks who live in single family homes in Portland will pay less. The Bureau as a whole, it's a revenue neutral proposal. And as long as I'm speaking, I'm just going to jump in at the end of this, at the end of public testimony, but I'll just make this statement now. For those of you who haven't been following this, this policy debate closely, let me provide you with some context. Number one, rate studies are normal things which utility bureaus do. Portland hasn't done one for 18 years, which is probably about 15 years too long. We did a rate study. We got the recommendations. One of the recommendations that came from the rate study, which we had some consultants pull together for us, is that amongst other things, we charge for overwater structures like folks who live in floating homes. And frankly, one of the recommendations I am saying we do not implement from the rate study is that. And partly because of the concerns and the sort of policy debates that we've heard here today. Frankly, especially in terms of the floating home piece, here I think we just have fundamentally different views, and I don't know if we're ever going to get these two teams speaking the exact same language. It was my decision to actually continue the exemption that we've had in place for floating homes. I make this decision in addition to considering the environmental concerns here. One of the other things I'm looking at specifically with the floating homes piece is the fact that floating homes are a unique form of affordable housing here in Portland. To buy a floating home, maybe you're talking about a little more than $200,000 a year. We know that's way more affordable than you'd see for most land-based homes. One of the things that makes floating homes affordable is the fact that you actually don't have to pay that stormwater charge at a time when affordable housing is such a large concern in the city of Portland. I think it's important that we continue this unique form of keeping Portlanders housed. So that's what I was trying to achieve here. I take responsibility for it. I'll tell you, I know my technical people who work very hard on this and know a lot more than this probably fundamentally disagree with me on this thing, and I accept that and I take responsibility for it. I appreciate some of the praise I've gotten from the floating home folks, but you can probably also tell they fundamentally disagree with the analyses that have been reached by our technical experts. This is how I'm reconciling the two and trying to move us forward. And here, I will turn it over to my director, Dawn. Do you have anything to add specifically to Commissioner Gonzalez's concerns?
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Mapps and Commissioner Gonzalez, for your question. As you noted, these are really technical details that I think that there may possibly some conflation of issues that we're going to need to get back to you on, and we can do that in our second reading. I also think that I want to make sure everyone understands that the city attorney's office has reviewed this ordinance and the study and the recommendations, and the city attorney supports these. So, Ms. Calvert, I do think that there's some confusion around some of the parts that you're referencing, and I would like the opportunity to come back and address that.
And if I can jump in here, one thing, I think we're going to hear from two groups of overwater distinct groups within the overwater community today. Floating home folks and probably some industrial folks. We've had great conversations with both groups. One of the things I've asked my director at my bureau to continue to do is to work with our industrial folks to make sure that we have at least clarity on what we're trying to achieve here, and what this ordinance does and does not do. And with that, Mr. Mayor, I will turn the microphone back over to you.
Commissioner Gonzalez.
Yeah, just that's appreciative on the technical piece. We can make some space between now and second reading. And Commissioner Maps, your overview is very, very helpful. You know, I will share just because I've heard it echoed a couple of times. My initial question was if we think this rate making is the right conceptual approach long term, but we are also recognizing tremendous sticker shock, particularly for a lot of senior citizens relative to fixed income. Is there a way to maybe over the long haul get to a more conceptually accurate approach but giving folks some sort of homestead temporary exemption or until you sell the property? I mean, again, it was brainstorm. It wasn't a deep technical solution, but if we think that that's the proper thing, the rate paying that's described here, rate making that was described here is the right long-term conceptual answer, but it's just too brutal for people on fixed income and for industrial users that are going from, that you're seeing gigantic raises in a short amount of time. Can we ease it in over time? And I guess I was curious your thoughts on that and what this code is doing now. And again, I'm sorry to get so deep on this. I just, Ms. Calvert's letter sort of triggered some questions there.
Commissioner, I appreciate your concerns and I very much appreciate your instinct. I think this is one of the reasons why it's important to do a rate study more often than once every 18 years. Frankly, that is perhaps the city's original sin here. I think it's a healthy exercise that we're going through right now to begin to kind of consistently look at this. I hope that future councils and the Bureau moving forward will continue to do this. I share both, a commitment to the North Star to build the perfect wastewater and stormwater treatment system, but at the same time, I very much live in the real world, populated by people who have unique circumstances and institutions that have unique circumstances. So I'm trying to thread the needle here, bring everybody together as best I can. And colleagues, I'll just be frank with you. I think this the proposal I put forward is probably the best. If we're going to have a rate study, which we haven't had for nearly 20 years, this is probably the best one we're going to get this month.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Back to public testimony, Keelan.
Next up, we have Bob Salinger.
Hi, Bob.
Good afternoon, Mayor Wheeler and members of Portland City Council. My name is Bob Salinger. I'm here today testifying on behalf of Willamette Riverkeeper. I am also a member of the Portland Utility Board, but I'm testifying for Riverkeeper, not the board today. I will note that the board unanimously recommended that the entire rate study go forward. And the board also explicitly recommended that there not be any last minute changes, that the entire report be allowed to get see the light of day. The council would deliberate on it and the public have a chance to weigh in. That's the way the public process should work. I've worked a lot with the houseboat owning community on a lot of issues, but I'm going to disagree with my friends in that community today. And I'm going to express extreme disappointment in this decision to exempt them, as well as industrial overwater structures as well. That's not getting a lot of attention, but industrial overwater structures are also being exempted today. We think that was the wrong way to do it. As a matter of process, we think the entire report should have come forward. The public should have been allowed to weigh in, and then you should render a decision. Last minute changes, which has become the norm on this council, are incredibly destructive to public process. It short circuits the public process. The public has no way to react when you do this at the very last minute, and you've done it several times now. And I hear back from my constituents that they wonder if it's even worth coming to city council anymore because of the way that you're doing business. I believe that the rate study did a very good job of addressing these issues. Part of the reason we did a rate study was because in 2015, there was pushback from this exact community. And so this rate study was done. They knew it was coming. It's not a surprise. And I think the city did a good job of explaining why this is important in terms of pollution and in terms of the benefits that we all derive from stormwater infrastructure. We all benefit from it. We think the entire plan should move forward. I hear today, and I've heard in the last couple of days, this idea that houseboats are an affordable housing community. I think if you go to Zillow, which I have done over the last week, what you will see is houseboats for $800,000, $700,000, $600,000, $500,000. Very few that I would consider affordable. Regardless, to the degree there are people living on houseboats that are on restricted incomes, they should be addressed through the same types of programs that everyone else in the city who is on a low income can utilize. We shouldn't do a blanket exemption for an entire class of residents based simply on anecdotal data. This is completely inequitable because at the end of the day, not only are you exempting this class of industrial and residential overwater structures, you are shifting those costs to everybody else. So I am going to pay more. People across the city are going to pay more for benefits that we all share and burdens that we should all share. So I would encourage you to reconsider this. You've had 7 years since this topic originally came up, and kicking it down the road again simply continues the inequities that have been in place for far too long. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gonzalez.
Actually, I just building off of Mr. Salinger's comments, Commissioner Maps, do you have, I have some specific questions for Mr. Salinger, but do you have initial thoughts? I mean, on his observations there, I had some specific ones, but I
don't disagree with Bob in terms of his process argument. However, you know, I've been living this for a while. My team has been deeply living this for months, if not years at this point. I've taken a look at the options, and frankly, this is my recommendation. I also want to point out that anyone on this council can introduce an amendment to charge floating homes for stormwater services. I will tell you today, I'm not going to do that. I think it frankly probably places the entire rate study at risk. And getting the rate study done is important for it moves us closer towards equity and fairness. You know, one of the reasons we haven't done this for 18 years is the last time this came before council, we had exactly this discussion, and council basically decided to kick the can down the road. I would say, colleagues, I've taken a serious look at this. My team has worked very hard on this. You can obviously see there are a range of issues here. I've given you my recommendations. I also obviously always respect your evaluations of the situation too. I think if you want to intervene in this space right now, the way that you would, probably the most appropriate way to do it would be to bring forward an amendment to charge folks who are living in floating homes for their wastewater services. And I can, if that's something you want to explore, certainly I will place my team, both in my office and at Environmental Services, at your disposal to kind of give you a lay of the background on what that would look like.
Thanks for that, Commissioner Maps. That was not necessarily where I was going. I just wanted to, before I got dug into my questions for Mr. Salinger, I just wanted to give you a chance to kind of respond. So that was.
I apologize for that digression. For the most part, I have no particular. I understand Mr. Salinger's critique here. And I accept it. At the same time, I have a complicated job balancing competing interests.
So, Mr. Salinger, from a stewardship perspective of the river, right? You know, I mean, when I look at this rate making process, what I really see is an attempt to more equitably spread the cost of the system, and you know, whether in the actual rate making process that was undergone, as well as what the Commissioner Maps and his team are trying to sort of balance competing demands on how that shared cost is spread, right? I mean, that's a core issue here. But my question is very precise to you, is what's proposed here damaging to the river from your vantage point? I mean, as amended, I mean, is this somehow undermining keeping the rivers clean? Or is your, I just want to make sure I understand your critiques about process. I understand that the original rate making study was done to more equitably spread this cost, and folks are going to debate that, and but I fully follow it. But is there a part of your argument here that this somehow damages the river? You're on mute, Bob.
Thank you for the question, Commissioner. My argument would be that I think there is good data that these kinds of structures do contribute to pollution in the river. And again, we're not just talking about houseboats here. We're talking about things like the Vigor dry dock, that huge industrial structure, that they do make contributions to the river. And that's not because people are not environmentalists. We all contribute. These kinds of surfaces contribute. What this plan does, though, by exempting them, is puts the burden on everybody else to pay for those impacts when it should be equitably distributed across the entire city. Now, I hope you go forward with this rate study one way or another, because I think it does make things more equitable. And I agree with Commissioner Mapps. I'm not interested in tanking this. I'm interested in going forward. But I think this exemption makes it a less equitable plan than it should be, because it exempts one group, really two groups, when you talk about industrial overwater structures, from sharing the burdens that the rest of us have to share to keep our river clean and address stormwater, and also get the benefits when we drive on roads. There's a reason why those roads don't flood. When we use civic infrastructure, there's a reason why we don't have stormwater problems there. When we think about urban heat island and the different ecological benefits we get from stormwater strategies like trees and green roofs, we share all those benefits, and we should all pay into them, and we should all pay into the pollution that we cause. And again, it's not to vilify the houseboat community or anybody else, because we all contribute. That's what these kinds of structures do.
I'm good for now. Thank you, Mayor, for indulging my questions.
Thank you.
Did I answer it, though?
Next up, we have Justin Teutsch.
Good afternoon. My name is Justin Teutsch, and I represent the ownership of Columbia Crossings, Portland's largest marina. The imposition of stormwater fees on floating areas, as originally proposed, presented an economically devastating burden on our business and our tenants at a time we, like many in Portland, are facing serious headwinds. Population declines and Portland area's economic underperformance relative to the rest of the region and the country has depressed mortgage occupancy at a time we have faced rising pressures from security costs and the city's notoriously cumbersome permit review process. In this context, a step increase in BES fees would have further undermined our financial sustainability and imposed a stormwater burden on our marinas that, as a percentage of revenue, would materially exceed any project of any type we've ever seen. How is that equitable? I am grateful to the council, and particularly council staff, that you listened to us and removed this ill-conceived and unfair stormwater fee change. To reiterate, stormwater fees of the magnitude contemplated by BES on floating structures have never been applied in Portland or in any other American city, or major American city, pardon me. This was not done because we are a large or influential constituency, but because it was fundamentally bad public policy that was profoundly unfair and would have been destructive to a community that plays a vital role in the stewardship of our riverways. At its core, our business is about connecting our customers to the river and its natural environments. Whether they be sailors, rowers, powerboaters, or floating home residents, all are drawn to the Columbia by its beauty, tranquility, and its power as it shapes landscapes around it. Protecting the river and its natural habitat is not only our moral duty, it is absolutely essential to the sustainability of our business. The health of waterfront businesses is indispensable to clean riverways, as we all benefit from safe, well-maintained docks, piers, and watercraft, and avoiding the pollution and environmental destruction caused by derelict structures and abandoned boats. The overwater structure fee would have had a particularly negative impact on our floating home residents. Floating homes have an ecological footprint that is far less than typical single-family dwellings. In the context of climate change, these homes consume less energy, generate less waste, and are not susceptible to flooding or erosion that will likely increase as our weather becomes more volatile. Given the challenges we face regarding access to housing, it is important for the city to maintain the affordability of floating homes, which would have been meaningfully compromised by the proposal if left unrevised. Just as it is our responsibility as a waterfront community to protect our rivers, it is the obligation of you, our elected officials, their staff, and city bureaus to be responsive to local businesses and citizens and ensure the fairness of municipal policy and thoughtfully assess its consequences. As our city faces myriad challenges, I'm sincerely encouraged to know that this city council does care and does listen. And I urge you to approve the revised ordinance. Thank you.
Up, we have Mark Birnbaum.
Mayor, Council, thank you very much. I live on Hayden Island and I am a new transplant to Portland, Oregon. I would like to thank BES for its diligent work on collecting and treating wastewater and stormwater. That stormwater collects chemicals, metals, plastics, and nasty stuff as it flows into the pipes, and that needs to happen. I'd also like to thank Commissioner Mapps on the listening sessions his office held about the BES rate study and specifically how it would impact overwater structure communities. While BES categorizes us as 180 accounts, I'm a resident of one of those accounts. Our account is a residential community with 177 residences. I'd like my testimony to place a representative face to what had been a proposed disparity in the rate structure. BES has a website where they present their rate structure study or their rate study, and the portland.gov/BES/rate-study. And the number one objective that BES states is that the rate structure is to adjust all rates to ensure that all customers are billed fairly based on the cost of serving them. The cost of service principle is underlying basis for all recommendations. The unfortunate part is that BES sidesteps the overall picture for the vast majority of the overwater structures. The overwater structures are, at the very least, coupled with land for parking, green space, and access. We pay our fair share of stormwater, offsite and onsite. Wherever sanitary service is consumed, we pay for that too. After Mr. Salinger's testimony, Commissioner Mapps accidentally stated that we're not paying for wastewater or inferred that we're not paying for wastewater treatment. That is absolutely not true. We pay both wastewater treatment and we pay for the offsite and onsite stormwater services. BES provides no service to the rainwater that falls around the overwater structures. There is no cost of servicing that rainwater. It is not captured or treated. And that's the primary objection that I think a lot of the people testifying or doing testimony today are focused or should be focused on, is that we gladly would pay for a service if a service was rendered. Nonetheless, BES still recommended a rate for rain falling around the structures. And just last week, that number 7 proposal was removed from the ordinance. We're here today because I think a lot of us feel that given the history, it will be back again. It should not be an exemption. It is not a service that's being provided. Thank you very much.
Next up, we have George Whitney.
Good afternoon. I own a floating home within the city of Portland. Members of the Portland City Council. Today we've heard concerns about pollution, taxation, regulatory overreach, equity, all in the context of running a vital environmental protection program. To this, I'd like to add comments about the process of developing related public policy. In the past several months, I've attended several meetings about What is now before you is item 983. At every one of these meetings, participants were required to wait while members of BES began meetings with statements of debatable accuracy. Let me address a few of those statements and their impacts. If overwater structures pollute, as BES and a few others have stated, where is the study, the science, the data, the remediation strategy? In my community, we're fortunate to have a US EPA senior environmental engineer as a neighbor. He says the science for such claims is very weak. If rate alignment is now intended to attach more fee to stormwater impact creators, as BES has stated, why has BES insisted on charging overwater structures for the handling of water deposited up system from us? Having us pay stormwater deposited by others is nothing less than antithetical to BES's stated purpose. If overwater structures indeed create significant stormwater impacts, why has BES and their consultant provided a rate study without a single example comparable to one BES has proposed? Despite BES statements, there is no precedent and thus no moratorium on legal stormwater charges for overwater structures. Also, suggestions that overwater structure owners don't pay our fair share are not accurate, insofar as we pay the same charges everyone else does for portions of property we operate on land, whether or not they touch Portland's stormwater system. Perhaps most important, where is the evidence of BES's proposal on collaborating with a broad group of stakeholders? Yes, BES can provide dates where presentations were made, but if you ask for a comment-by-comment treatment of stakeholder input relating to 983, I trust you will find, as I have, no such treatment occurred or exists. While I am grateful to Commissioner Mapps and his office for listening to our cries, to just listen, and for actions that led to this council considering an amended ordinance striking explicit charges for overwater structures, this city needs a stormwater ordinance and policy development process built upon a foundation of science, transparency, candor, and collaboration, a process with more integrity that people here can trust is fundamental and fair. As a result of the current effort, the proposed ordinance greatly expands the definition of stormwater impacting services and puts any property owner at risk of new or expanded fees, whether they operate on concrete, under roofs, in the dirt, or over water. At this time, I do not trust BES won't be back again attempting to charge overwater structures for rain that merely drops a matter of inches from our roofs and decks into a river, not a city stormwater drain inlet. If the current proposed ordinance is deemed immediately necessary, I ask the council to restrain BES expansion of new stormwater program scope and fee regime. Otherwise, I urge you to reject the new ordinance until a stormwater policy development process is appropriately conducted. Thank you.
Next up, we have Mike Ryther.
Hello, I'm Mike Ryther. I work at Sundance Marina, Tomahawk Island. Worked there 31 years. I'm a dry moorage manager and a licensed maritime captain. And we have 32 people that work at our marina. It's a small business. And we're already taxed to death on all kinds of stuff. And we already have the, no fancy words here, sorry. And I'm just, we're already taxed on our buildings that are on the land for the same thing, for the storm drains. But the docks, or we're going to get, it's going to be significant. It's going to be probably tens of thousands of dollars at the end of the year. Sundance owns a lot of docks. We have 4 marinas in Oregon and 2 in Washington. But for a small business that's still struggling, we are a green marina, and we do try our best to be a good steward. But the rain is going to fall on the docks. It's going to go on the river. They're already on the river. There's no property damage to anybody's property. There's no flooding. There's, you know, you've heard this from other people earlier, and I'm just here to represent that. I don't think that my boss, the owner of these marinas, should get stuck with this on a already just struggling business as a marina. And I'm sure there's some industrial businesses like the other gentleman was saying about the dry dock that goes up and down. Well, that dry dock that goes up and down, they do things with that. Like they're bottom painting and sanding and welding. That's a whole different ballgame with pollution in the river. These are just docks. They get rained on. The water goes to the dock, to the water. And that's just why I'm here to represent. And thank you very much, council. And you.
Mayor, that completes testimony.
All right, very good. Colleagues, any further discussion on this item? Commissioner Maps?
Well, I want to create room, I have some closing comments, but if anyone on council has any particular questions or comments they want to make now, I want to create some space for that.
Commissioner Rubio?
I just have one question. We got some questions from constituents about this. I just want to learn more about it. We heard some concerns about more clarity about how entities who currently hold the Clean Water Act National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System permit are able to still access the Clean River Rewards program. Has there been discussion about how to align this, or what's the heart of the concern, and what's the answer, just so that we can have that information too?
Madam Director, is that you?
Sorry, slow to the draw. It's not me. I think that is either Anthony or Adrian.
I can just add, just to say, at least for part of this, I think you're referring to some industrial customers need to get a permit, which is required by a DEQ to manage stormwater and pollutants on there. Actually, I'm going to defer this to Adrian, my colleague, Adrian Iona, because she is far more knowledgeable than.
Hi, for the record, Adrian Iona with BES. I manage the team that writes our codes and rules. So yes, I think you're Commissioner Rubio, are you speaking about industrial customers in particular? Okay, great, that's helpful. So industrial customers are required to get individual permits when they discharge stormwater to the river. Those permits are under the jurisdiction of DEQ, and BES staff, under the auspices of DEQ's regulatory requirements, implement those permits. So we do the inspections and the enforcement of those. So the changes that we're making to Clean River Rewards for properties that are in compliance with their stormwater requirements, properties that are in compliance with stormwater requirements for BES's stormwater management manual and manage their stormwater on site, those will be eligible for Clean River Rewards. And that will be the same for properties, the industrial properties that meet specific requirements under their DEQ permit as well. We will pause Clean River Rewards or stop allowing that discount for properties that are out of compliance. Does that answer your question?
I think so. I may follow up with you later. I'm just learning about this and it's for my own knowledge too.
Yeah,
so
it's complicated.
Thanks for this. And if I have more questions, we'll follow up.
Great.
If I could add just one minor thing to that as well, is we are making it easier for customers like folks with those permits to apply for Clean River Rewards. So that also could be a component of your question. We are making it easier to apply.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
And it will be directly tied to that compliance. Right now, it's sort of a more complicated application process. So we're directly connecting those.
Great. Okay.
Those two things.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ryan?
Oh yeah, I could have pulled my hand back down because Commissioner Rubio asked the question that I was looking at. But I just want to say that Commissioner Maps, I want to thank you. I know you pulled this twice. And so clearly we could all tell there was something going on behind the scenes with a lot of engagement, and we got to witness that today. So I just want to appreciate that. And it looks like, I know I would like to have our office ask a few more questions about understanding what we just heard from Adrian. And I think the decoupling of industry and residential finally got into the dialogue, which was very helpful. And so I'm satisfied with what I've heard today. I really appreciate the people from the floating home community on Hayden Island specifically for coming out today, and look forward to getting this, some of the questions answered in between meetings. Thanks so much.
Commissioner Maps?
Sure. Well, if there are no more questions or comments from my colleagues on council, I just want to close out today by thanking everybody who participated in today's discussion. And frankly, this discussion that we're having today has been going on for many, many years. In particular, folks who testified today, I want to thank Ron, Timothy, Stephen, Jazz, Marin, Bob, Justin, Mark, and George. And I think there's probably one or two that I forgot. We really appreciate your feedback. I also want to take a moment to really recognize staff over at BES. Director, you've been amazing here. Anthony, Aaron, Eric, Deb, Adrian. I know how tough this is. You guys have been great. I recognize no one is going to be entirely happy, or no one is entirely happy with what came out today. What came out today is a product of your work and some executive choices I've made. I think everyone at least understands why I've made the choices that I've made. I think that this allows us to move this important project forward. I'm really grateful for that. I think this is long overdue. I also want to say that my office and my team at BES is available, especially to my colleagues on council who have any other questions or concerns that you might want to dive into before this comes back next week for a final vote.
Very good. And Commissioner Maps, I will take you up on that. I have a number of questions and I don't want to bog everybody down today. We've still got a lot on our agenda, but I think I personally would like a better understanding of some of the economic arguments that were made today. And so I've been diligently writing them down, and we will connect, or I'll connect with your staff between now and next week. So this is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Thank you, everybody, for your testimony. Next item, please. 984, a second reading.
Amend contract with Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated to extend term, increase compensation by up to $7,598,099, and make other changes for the Columbia Boulevard Wastewater Treatment Plant Secondary Treatment Expansion Program.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Really glad to see this project move forward. I want to thank my team over at BES for getting us here. We're getting very close to reaching some major milestones at upgrading our wastewater treatment facilities. I want to thank everyone who made that possible, which is why I am glad to vote aye.
Rubio. Aye. Ryan.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Taylor.
I vote aye, and the ordinance is adopted. We'll move now to the item pulled from consent, item 977.
Amend intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Department of Transportation for the Jade and Montevilla Multimodal Improvements Project.
Commissioner Maps.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Colleagues, I pulled this item from consent because I need to make an amendment to this ordinance. What I'd like to do today is first start out by offering a motion to amend this item. And I'm hoping I can get a second on that motion, and then I'll introduce the amended item. Then we can hear a staff presentation, hear testimony, and any questions that might be out there, and then this would come back for a second reading next week. If that run of show sounds good for everybody, what I'd like to do now is to make a motion. So I'll make the following motion. I move to amend this ordinance to update the total project amount in finding 4 to $9,094,000. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. And here, let me provide some context on what we're talking about today. Colleagues, this item comes to us from PBOT. This project will result in the construction of key pedestrian and bike routes in the Jade District and Montevilla neighborhoods, which will connect various neighborhood hubs in Southeast Portland. Here's some background on this item. ODOT has already awarded PBOT a $3.2 million grant for the design and construction of the Jade District and Montevilla Multimodal Improvements Project. Now we have some good news, which is also why I pulled this off of consent. ODOT is now contributing an additional $3 million to support this project. We have to make some adjustments to reflect this. The purpose of the legislation that we have before us today is to amend PBOT's IGA with ODOT to include that additional $3 million. Now I will turn this presentation over to Winston Sandino, a PBOT project manager in the Bureau's Capital Delivery Division, who will share more about this project and explain the changes to the ordinance that need to be made today. Thank you very much. And Winston, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapps. And I'm sorry, I have a cold. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Winston Sandino. I'm a capital improvement project manager for PBOT and the project manager for the Jade Montavilla project currently in design. As Commissioner Mapps mentioned, the project is going to add some bike and pedestrian facilities in the Jade district and Montavilla district, buffer bike lanes, signalized pedestrian crossings, new sidewalk improvements. The project is being supported by 82nd Coalition, Apano, Jade, and Montavilla Neighborhood Association. So it's a good project. And this ordinance is going to amend the IGA with the Oregon Department of Transportation for $3 million in federal funds. And the reason we're amending this and was pulled from the consent is because there was a minor typo in the ordinance. The total amount of the project is $9,094,000, and the number that was included in the ordinance was $9,014,000. I really want to apologize for that. It was just a minor typo, but the project is finalizing design right now, and we are hopefully going to bid next year, early next year. So that's the project, and I'll be here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
All right, colleagues, any questions? Any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
Commissioner Ryan?
Yeah, real quick. Winston, thanks for being here. What was the engagement like and the response from the small businesses in the area?
They are actually very happy. I've been receiving emails and asking when the project is going to be completed. Some of the items, especially on a 82nd area, we are adding plenty of new sidewalk improvements, pedestrian crossings. So yeah, it's a good feedback so far.
And parking and access to their businesses isn't being hampered. I'm just because of what we did out on Southeast Division out on 110th, and we know the small businesses out there are still quite not happy with all those developments. So I just want to hear the distinction between the work that you all did out in Southeast Division and this work. I just want to hear that.
Yeah, so there are two locations. There's the J District and the Montavilla District. The south part of the project, it's basically adding sidewalk and some signalized pedestrian crossing. In the Washington Street, we are adding buffered bike lanes. And those bike lanes are basically just, in some areas, it's swapping the bike lanes to putting parking on one side and then bikes on next to the sidewalk. In some areas, it's mixed with buses and bikes, but we're not doing anything. It's a one-way. Washington Street is one way, so we're not doing any islands or any access management.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Any further questions? Is there any public testimony on this item?
No one signed up.
This is a first reading of a non-emergency ordinance. It moves to second reading. Keelan, that completes our business for this morning.
Does, Mayor.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.